Well, hello, everybody. Long time no see. Gosh, I should move my microphone over. How is everybody? My Eagles won. My Eagles won. Yay! My husband was just calling to tell me my Eagles won. But my Eagles won. I timed this perfectly because my Eagles won. How is everyone? I was pretty excited today. I don't know why these glasses look so blurry in this camera, but they do. Very blurry potty. Eagles killed him, I know. It's hard for the Eagles, though, to beat the Chiefs refs. I mean, that's where it's going to be a problem. They did win by a lot. It was nice. My husband was watching it for me while I was here at the office. And then he's like, well, I'm not watching it anymore. What do you mean you're not watching it anymore? He goes, well, it's a blowout. I don't care. You're still watching it for me. So he watched it. How is everyone? You wait. Whoa. I saw something Shelly wrote about Scott. What? She said, I saw. Go down. Chiefs will rule. They'll rule because they cheat. No offense. It's just, we'll see. The Bills are pretty good. I love Keon Coleman, who was at FSU. So I hope the Bills win. So we had, I see Shelly's talking about snow and ice, which has just been incredible. I wonder if I'll see. I thought she said something about, Shelly, did you say something about Scott? So if you don't know me, I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Patty's Playhouse, and I haven't been on in a week because we had snow and ice here in Tallahassee, Florida. Who'd have thunk it? Not on my bingo card. The year started with I needed a new roof because of a windstorm. Then we had a tornado. Then we had numerous hurricanes. Then what else happened? Oh, yeah, we had a late hurricane, Helene, like in almost the end of the hurricane season. And then snow and ice. It's crazy land. But it's been, I didn't leave my house. I'm not a Floridian. I can drive in the snow and the ice. Our people here cannot. So they shut down so many roads. I-10 was closed for a long time because we had snow and ice. Pensacola got really lucky. They had like 7 inches of snow. I don't know if you saw it, but in the French Quarter in New Orleans, they were playing hockey. It was amazing. It was absolutely crazy. Actually, Patty, this started with the best live stream ever. Hi, Mia. How are you? Long time no see, people. Long time no see. Hi, Eric. I want to say hi to everybody. Hold on. Just bear with me because. Good morning, Chris. Hi, Pepper. I may be asleep, so I love you all, and I'll catch you on the replay. Kazati lives on the river, a river in England, close to the Welsh border. It's got to be freezing. I know. Isn't it right? It's still waiting for me, shouting EAGLES. I don't know if you know about Philly or understand the town of Philly or even care about Philadelphia, but I saw a video of someone going to Philadelphia and they said Philadelphians really own who they are. They're really repping. I know what it was. This guy was looking for a school to go to college. And he said the reason he chose a college in Philadelphia was because of how that everyone in town reps the town. And, they're all wearing a Philly shirt, Phillies, which is the baseball team, the Sixers, which is basketball, the Flyers, which is hockey. I mean, they really love the town. It is my favorite town that I've ever visited. I had the opportunity to live there for a few years, and I just absolutely love it. I love it. But the mayor sucks because she couldn't spell Eagles. So there's this thing where it's like EAGLES. No, she's like ESGLES. So then everyone made cupcakes or cakes with ESGLES on it, making fun of her because I would have been absolutely mortified. I'm sure she's a very nice person who just in the moment lost her shit and couldn't spell Eagles. But we have this thing where it's called the dirty bird because it's an eagle and you're like, fly, eagles, fly, blah, blah, blah. And the whole song, right before the Phillies game, they let out an eagle and the eagle flies the circumference of Lincoln Field. Like, it's just so much pomp and circumstance. Tailgating at an Eagles game, even when I was there 20 years ago, more, 36 years ago, it's amazing. Like, they go all out. They had a blow up nightclub in last week. Like, it's unlike anything you've ever seen. Think French Quarter, but in Philadelphia in freezing snow and ice. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Everybody goes on the subway. People leave on the subway. They'll take the public railroad or subway bus is called SEPTA, SEPTA. It's just amazing. Like, you're on there and you're just, how could I ever leave this town? Everything's a neighborhood in Philly. They're like, there's North Philly, there's Northeast Philly, there's South Philly, there's West Philly, there's Broad Street Market. There's like, everything is a neighborhood. Like, when I say I lived there, I lived at Broad and Diamond. Everyone knows where that is. They'll say South Philly, which is the Italian market area. That's 2 Street. It's just, every street has a name and every street has a story, and that's why I love it so much. And it's probably the best food, if you go, that you will ever have in your life. I know there's not Chinatown in New York City, but to me, Chinatown in Philly is better Chinese food than Chinatown in New York. I'm a little biased, but it's just an amazing place. Hi, Just Me Joe. Hey, tennis girl. How are you? I'm going to send you your artwork. She asked for a piece. Like, I was doing watercolors over Christmas, which I haven't even had time to continue. But I promised her a piece of artwork, and now I can go to the post office again because everything was shut here all week. Hi, Arlene. How are you? I know, it's so good to see that. So good to see EAGLES. Hi, Leslie. Hey, Pins and Needles. Mr. C, how are you? Patty Cakes and Patty Melts. That's what, if you become a member of the channel, you're a patty cake or a patty melt. Is it still cold in Tally? Well, it was like 61 when I got to the office. 61. So it was colder this morning, but I just wore this jacket to work, which I love. And I wore it to church, and then I had some errands to run. And when I came in here a few hours ago, I still have it on. It's chillier I bet in this building than it is outside. Get this, no buy day, January 29th. Who cares? Right now, I'm so happy. I'm not letting anyone shizzle on my parade. Not politically, not religiously, not business-wise, nobody. Nobody can ruin it right now. Nobody. It's sure cold here in North British Columbia, Canada, -13. Sorry. You've got to be used to it. You have to have snowshoes. Like, you have to have snowshoes. You had a high of 67 today. You still have snow in your yard? You must be tree covered. I had to go to our neighboring county, Gadsden, the house that we're closing on tomorrow, that we're selling, and the closing's tomorrow morning. Full snow still on it. Completely snowed in. Thank you. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I don't say that enough because I don't think about it. It's crazy to experience, Shelley says. I've been here more than 20 years. We had some flurries once during that time. I've been here right before 9/11, so 01, 24 years. There was flurries in 03, someone said, which I have no recollection of. This was absolutely jaw-dropping. I couldn't. I walked around the first night at my house, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it felt no different than PA. Like, it was unbelievable being here. Thank you, Mama Deeds. Hi, I can smell crazy a mile away. Crazy Joe Low, good evening. He says good evening to the chat. Whitey says, I'm not sure, but maybe we have some more emoticons. I do not. I didn't add emoticons. The accumulation of snow and ice, us Tallahassee folk are not used to it. It was entertaining. I mean, one kid got arrested for snow / ice balls at cars down in College Town. But oh my God, like, is that really it? My question in that case, where there's cars driving down Madison Street, why are they driving down Madison? You saw a whole throng of college students there. Why would you actually drive down the road? You could have driven down another road. But of course, the kids got in trouble because they're students. Hey, Claudia, how are you? I hope you had, I had a very blessed weekend. I am not freezing. They are my favorite people. I am not freezing. Hi, Lulu. Aloha, Jackie. How are you? Hi, Gladys. I called my husband Gladys Kravitz yesterday. He was telling me about the neighbors doing this and the neighbors doing that. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you like sitting in the window with your nose poked through the blinds during the day? You know, he just retired, so the poor guy. Oh, here it is. I spied Scott in the wild. I think he looked quite dapper in his pinkish jacket. That is him. It's Salmon. And where did you see him? Where'd you see him, Shelly? You're ordering Chinese. I do love some Chinese. If you ain't cheating, you're trying. I'm sick of the Chiefs winning. Well, it's, you know. I have no comment. How is the weather? Today was beautiful. Oh, you saw him at the Circle K. Yes, absolutely. I call it Murder K. Scott probably still calls it Circle K, but that's where we get our Diet Cokes. You should have said hi to him. He was on his way probably to his open house. He had an open house today. The snow is basically gone, unless you're at Shelly F's house. I almost said your last name again. Try not to say it. Do you have snow plows and salt trucks? No, these fools put sand on ice. Can't even talk about it. I just chose not to drive because I wasn't going to deal with it. Hi, Wesley. How are you? So my husband and I were locked in. What, 3 days? I haven't spent 3 days alone with Christopher. God, since COVID. We haven't been on a vacation. No, we did. We left no, we weren't alone. I think it's been before that. I was thinking of the hurricane, but I think it was before that. It was a lot of 3 days. It wasn't a long 3 days, but he was because he couldn't go to the gym because it wasn't open. And he was very antsy. He didn't like it at all. He wants sun and to go to the gym. People are flooding the streets in downtown South Philly, Neely. So that's what I was going to describe in Philly. Last time there was a big winning thing. They greased the lampposts in downtown Philly because people will crawl up the lampposts and tag and steal the flags that are on the lamppost. So they greased them down last time. I don't know if they did it this time, but as of 10:30 last night, according to Barstool's Philly, they did not, which is a X account. You know, it's Barstool FSU, Barstool, everyone, every sports team has a Barstool. And they had not greased the poles. So they were waiting because people will literally, you can't even you can't even describe Philadelphia when they win something. It's crazy. Hey, Bling, how are you? You're driving to your new job in Union Country, Iowa. Well, highs of 40. Congratulations on your new job. That's the first thing. And I will take care, and you take care too. Congratulations, though. Do I think Trump's threats against Canada are for real? Yes. Yeah. I do think, like today, he threatened Colombia because we sent a bunch of criminals here, not just that they were here illegally, but they were criminal Colombians. And they had a plane, I don't know if it's a C-4 or C-130s, I mean a C-141 or a C-130. C-4 is bomb-making material. So I don't know if it was either of those planes, which can both land in the desert if they need to, but Colombia would not accept, as Trump called it, the repatriation of your criminals. That's what he said. And so he told the dictator of Colombia, which is a beautiful country, it is really beautiful, that I will just tariff you to death. And it's like 25% this week, 50% next week. And then the Colombian, I was going to read what he wrote. It's absolutely hilarious. I think I have it. To me, the letter of this, which I'll talk about in a little while, was absolutely hilarious. He had he's bringing up all the criminals that the guy follows. Like, you're already a dictator, telling everybody that you follow. He goes, I confess that Sacco and Vanzetti, who have my blood, are memorable in the history of the USA, and I follow them. They were murdered by labor leaders with the electric chair, the fascists who are within the USA as well as within my country. The guy's a dictator. He goes to Trump, I don't like your oil. Trump, you're going to wipe out the human species because of greed. Maybe one day over a glass of whiskey, which I accept, despite my gastritis, we could talk frankly about this, but it's difficult because you consider me an inferior race. Colombia is not a race. Being a Colombian is not a race. It might be xenophobic, but it's not a race. There's only a couple races. I wish people would learn the language and get around it, but he is translating, so there is that. Nor is any Colombian. So if you know someone who's stubborn, that's me. You can try to carry out a coup with your arrogance. But I will die in my law. I resist torture. I resist you. We all had many, and we freed ourselves. Meanwhile, as people are as poor as hell. What I want next to Colombia are lovers of freedom. If you can't accompany me, I will go elsewhere. Colombia is the heart of the world. You didn't understand that. This is the land of the butterflies, the beauty of the remedios, but also of the colonels. I can't pronounce his name. I took German. Of which I am one, perhaps the last. You will kill me. I will survive in my people, which is before yours in the Americas. I have informed that you impose a 50% tariff on the fruits of our human labor to enter the U.S., and I do the same. It's just... So yes, I do believe that Trump will use tariffs where he is legally allowed, and it will make the cost of coffee more expensive, maybe in the short run. But let's face it, Colombia needs us. So that's how I feel about that. I can't go to Wales or, let's say, anywhere in the UK, which I love, and just stay there. Like, they're going to kick me out. It just doesn't work that way. I don't have a refugee status. They're just not going to do it. Hold on one second. So it's funny. Hold on. I invited someone to come on today to talk about a case. Well, it should be a case with Jack Campbell, but we're having a hard time. So, hold On YouTube, it's Patty's Playhouse. But yeah, tariffs are a great tool where you don't really have to bring a gun. It's a trade war and there's no blood. There's no blood loss, right? I love that. But why don't you want to take your people back? That's what I don't understand. Like Mexico originally said they weren't going to take their gang members back either, but now they are. Like, why don't you? They're your people. They're not our people. Why don't you take them back? Looks like your office is warmer. I'm warmer. You are my go-to for myself. One of my two... I got to get back to, I don't know what she's saying. How horrible, Kimber. So sorry to hear this happen. You know, one of my 2 chemo drugs was an antibiotic too. You had a chemo drug that was a... Oh, that's true. But we do get a lot of lumber. I'm a realtor. Like, I'm a broker first. We get a lot of lumber from Canada. We do, but in the end, it would harm the smaller countries more. Breaking the law has consequences. Not sure what that about is so difficult to understand because we've let people get away with it for so long, and we brand ourselves here in the United States as a melting pot. So if you brand yourself as a melting pot, you believe that you should just assimilate anyone. The challenge is they're not assimilating. They're not. No, my people are Irish. Somebody was calling me out as a racist in my Living Tallahassee group over the weekend because someone posted about, it was a joke. In their mind, it was a joke about ICE coming to Home Depot and they're like, we're out of coolers. Something like, it was a pun. The students here at FSU did not take it well. At all. At all. Like they didn't see a joke in it at all. I thought it was funny, but I laugh at just about everything. So they just don't see it. Like, but they're not assimilating. They're not coming here. Okay, so I said I was Irish, and they're like, well, why don't you make a joke about yourself? I'm like, we're a bunch of, no offense to you, Irish, drunk Catholics. Like, that's what we're known for. We're known for, potatoes and drinking and beer and Guinness. We're drunks. I'm not, but in general, we are. So was like, what do you want me to say? I'm a drunk. But we assimilated. So when my people came over here, Irish, if you don't know, the Irish were indentured servants, which is another word for slaves. They had their passage paid to come through. Our people, my people, went through Baltimore, not through New York City. And people paid for the passage and we had to go work in their homes to offset that in money. That is slavery. That's human trafficking nowadays. You can't do that. But back then it was perfectly fine. But we had to assimilate. Yes, we already spoke English, but we had to learn, like, drop the accent. You had to assimilate. When my sister, I was born in PA, but my older siblings were born in Kentucky and had a Kentucky accent and called their mother, my mother, Mama. I called her Mom or Mommy. When they moved to Pennsylvania, they tell me that they were completely bullied because they had a Southern accent, so they sounded like Hicks, and they called their mothers Mama and Daddy, which is what they say in Kentucky. And they had to assimilate. They had to grow I have not assimilated. I'm going to tell you, from the north to the south, it is a struggle for me to assimilate here. Like, I'm not eating a grit. It's just not happening. Not having a grit, not eating a chitterlin, not doing it. Like, there's just things I'm not doing. But overall, here in the South, they might take a little longer. Here in the South, builders show up when they want. Here in the South, those kind of things. But it's hard to assimilate. It takes a lot of work. And I don't know that there's proper programs when you're bringing these vast amount of people into the country, whether it's to pick crops or brick masons, which frankly we need more of. That is a fact. A proper brick mason is an art. I can't do it. My white friends can't do it. But bringing them in here properly, getting them education, teaching them English, teaching them money, the monetary system, that's what's important. And those programs are not there. They're literally sitting their kids in an elementary school that cannot teach them. Not here in Tallahassee. They just don't have the ability. So they're not really learning. It's quite sad when you think about the actual day-to-day life of being that migrant. Whether, if you have the paperwork and you have a sponsor, which is what's required here to come in legally, and then the sponsors, they're there for you. They have the financial backing to support you if you cannot support yourself. There's a big difference between that. And unfortunately, we followed the Laken Riley trial. There's more of that than we like to believe. And a lot of these states, it's easy for them to assimilate. So Laken Riley's murderer, he went from Texas, Catholic Charities flew him to New York City. He stayed in the Roosevelt Hotel, which is absolutely destroyed now. It used to be a beautiful hotel, is absolutely destroyed. Then he makes his way down to Georgia, Athens, working for the University of Georgia. He had no paperwork. He had a fake green card. He had a fake whatever. Like, they couldn't tell. They ignored it. And there we have Laken Riley dead in a hiking path. Because all those little bits along the way, which could have been done, but people were like, well, no one's going to do anything, so we'll just let him in. And now we have a dead Laken Riley. And now we have a bill to help governments and local municipalities, if they will take on, to arrest people like that. One thing I heard, which I believe is a rumor, I haven't seen anything in writing yet, where he said, if you promote, if your city, like Tallahassee or Quincy, Florida, Quincy is the poorest city, Gadsden is the poorest county in the state of Florida. If you promote illegals coming in to take care of your land and pick your crops, your county will lose federal funding.
Okay. I found this on the web.
Oh my gosh, my Siri just talked to me. But I mean, that's the length he will go to stop the behavior. Is Gadsden County cannot afford to not have federal funding. And it's a very, very, very liberal county. But they can't afford it. So they will bend to the will to get the funding. Just like that's the reason we wear seatbelts, right? Every state back in the day didn't want to wear a seatbelt. So the federal government had to say, if you don't wear a seatbelt, we'll pull your federal funding in the Department of Transportation. So that's what happened. So threats between governments and between counties and states have happened for a very long time. Our school superintendent, Rocky is his name, he gets threatened by the State Department of Education constantly because he didn't want to do something that DeSantis's administration tells him to do. So he gets threatened. Literally, a letter from the Secretary of Education said, you better do it or we're going to remove you. Because he's elected official, that's what has to happen. And then he bends. He's going to bend because he doesn't want to lose that funding. He can't afford to. So federal funding will be tied to elementary, middle school, and high schools. Federal funding is tied to everything that we do. And that's what happens. So it won't be just Canada or just Colombia. It'll be Gadsden County, Leon County, I'm going with the blue counties, Alachua County, Palm Beach County. All of those counties will see an effect because they will pull funding. And it's perfectly legal. Most corrupt judge and terrible investigation now hiding evidence, guilty or not, should be thrown out like the gutsy Chuck Baldwin. I don't know what you're talking about. I apologize. I really don't. I came into this and I don't know what you mean. SpongeBob Isha. I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Villanelle. Take care. Armand, I heard they did not have enough detention space and so he is not in prison yet. Who is that? Assimilation is significantly more difficult when migrants face racism or not embraced in the society which receives them. It takes a community. Elon Musk echoed this during his H-1B1 debate. Okay, I'm Irish. So I really believe who everyone wants to talk about Spanish or Haitian or Ugandans, whatever it is, go back and read Ellis Island and how the Irish were treated. It is the exact same way. This situation that Sandra's brought up has happened over the last 225 years. This is not new. So, or almost 250 years. I don't know what you want me to say, but it's human nature. We are tribal people. That's human nature. And the Colombians are not a race. It is a culture, and it may be xenophobia, but it's not racism. And I will correct everyone who says that for the rest of my life. There is a difference. And here, I don't know, Sandra, where you live, but the signs are in Spanish and English. But we don't have the money in this county to support children whose parents also don't want to learn English. I know they want a better life for themselves. That's the whole reason to crawl 1,200 miles to get to the southern border. But you got to assimilate. There's got to be some sort of intention in that. So I would love, like, if I win the lottery, I'm moving to Wales. I would have to really learn the metric system, or I would be SOL, right? I would have to learn how to drive on the wrong side of the road. I would have to learn all that. I wouldn't have a choice. You have to be able to adapt. And if you're saying, well, people are mean to me, so I'm not going to adapt, that's not going to get you anywhere. You got to have grit. The same grit that you walk 1,200 miles to, you got to have grit when you get there. It's just not going to work if you don't. I remember calling my parents' mom and daddy. I went in the Air Force out of high school and never did it again. I also had to learn to pronounce the L in old. It's true. Cold. I don't even know how I can say it. Ode. Yeah, it's ode. They say oh. There's no I. It's all. I remember when I was at Rantoul, Illinois, and I had this guy teaching us engines on C-130s, and he kept saying, oh. And I was like, what are you talking? I was so afraid, I'm new to the Air Force. I had no idea. You just can't like talk out of turn. But I was, at the end of the day, I was like, would somebody tell me what he is saying? Tell me. It was oil. But he wasn't saying oil. He was saying, oh. I'll never forget it. So funny. Debbie says Jews were helped on Ellis Island after Hitler by a ministry called Friends of Israel helped them become successful in the Lower East Side. Yeah, the Irish didn't have that. We didn't have any help. My people were so poor. That's amazing, though. And that's what they need. That's why we have sponsors. So when someone comes here, just like I'm sure in other countries, I don't know how it works, but I know when they come here, you have to have legally, you have to have a sponsor. Like that. You have to have a sponsor to help you in. Villanelle says, my wife is an immigrant. So they just changed it. So I don't know if she has a green card or I'm not sure, Villanelle. But I know that they just changed the green card status. If you're married to somebody, he literally just wrote an executive order to end the COVID vaccination. After all these years, that was still on there to get a working green card. Really? Orly, where'd you come from? Where'd your ancestors come from? When my ancestors came to the U.S., they had to and went to learn to speak English. Yeah, well, Irish people spoke English, but it wasn't the same. You have a lot of Venezuelan gangs. I mean, that's the problem. They won't even say in Tallahassee Police Department. They won't even say the word gang. Like we have a gang. What is it? A gang commission or a gang watch? But they really won't. Like you'll never hear Mayor Daley say the word gang. Never happened. Never happened. I teach English misdemeanor. I teach English as a second language in New York City. The new migrants have no education in the first language. It's a problem with high school level. I know. I can't even imagine. I mean, they're asking you to do the impossible. So hard. And I think you're right. They probably don't even know how to read. They were probably so poor. They didn't even know how to read Colombian Spanish, let alone American. Can't even. So sad. Beautiful children. No wonder they go to gang work. Gang work, like it's employment. Sorry. No wonder they join gangs. It's not employment. Gang work is not employment. Can I cover the Karen retrial? I will. I totally disagree with Roberta on her take. Well, my take isn't going to be much better. So, in fact, Turtle Boy wished to me personally that I had cancer and that my children die and that my husband gets cancer. All I'm saying for him is play by the rules, boy. Like, he is paid by Karen Reed. Like, everyone knows that. You're supposed to say that in your YouTube notes, and you should have a disclaimer. Sponsored by Karen Reed. Do you think he does that? No. I'm checking to see if that's an FTC violation, because I'm thinking it might be, but I'm checking. Not that they'll do anything, but yeah, they might have picked the wrong one. Yeah, I understand. Well, he's just saying it to be edgy, Maui. She saw it. He's just saying it to be edgy and take on his persona. Where if someone like me saw a Turtle Boy to his face, he would cower like the coward that he is. He's only good with a group of people around him, and that includes virtual people. He's not good one-on-one. You can just tell. Like, one of them happened to review my business. They said they were going to do it, FKRs, free Karen Reeds. They said they were going to review my business, and I have not been on my business email for a couple of days because I was enjoying learning who my husband was again. Because it had been a while, right? So you have a review from Jonathan. Well, thank you, Jonathan, for the review. And Jonathan just gave me a 1-star. He didn't really say who he was or why. And so I explained. Jonathan came from Twitter, which is now known as X. And Jonathan is a follower of Aiden Kearney /Turtle Boy. And Jonathan wished that I got cancer and that my family died. And I wrote all this as a response to his Google review instead of cowering in fear. And then he removed the review. So I understand, like anyone else, the woman has a right to defend herself. What she doesn't have a right to, in my head, like morally, is pay people to go at people and threaten them. Literally threaten me, which, like, he has no, I'm not worried about him. Like, he's not going to do anything. And other people are like, no, Patty, they could call your family. And I thought, I hope they do. My family has a bigger mouth than I do. So I hope, like, that would be fantabulous, because most of these people think that they can just bully without a response. It's like any bullying behavior. But once you respond, they cower. No different than Rob Myers and the society page. They just cower away once you challenge them. But whoever the families are that are associated with the, I'm not going to say their name again. You all know who they are with the Reeds. Now they're coming after, they're retooling the defense. Now it's some other guy who may or may not have had the hots for her, and she may or may not have had the hots for him. but it was likely him. What? I don't understand that. And maybe someone smarter than me could explain, just because you have a new trial, you have a new defense. It's like Charlie Adelson. Charlie Adelson, you know, it's a double bribe, double extortion. If he got a new trial, what would his new defense be? Well, he's got sworn testimony. What do you mean his new defense would be? Just play that. I don't understand. Well, now what? Those three people didn't work. That family, the dog bite, none of that worked. So now we're going to go after Mr. Higgins. Are you serious? We might as well go with the snowplow driver. That to me was a more legitimate opportunity. Go after the snowplow driver. Why not? Someone on Twitter was like, I lived around the block. Go after her. She could have driven. She could have been around. It could have been anybody, right? But no one else had the light. You either stick with the broken tail light being the McAlberts or the McCabe's or the whoever they were at 34, or you can't. And it's Brian Higgins, then why'd your light break? Why'd your light break? And why were there light fragments under John O'Keefe? And that's, I want the science. Like, I want the logic behind it. But I don't understand the logic either. Those people beat up John O'Keefe. The dog bit him. They threw him out into the yard to die in the cold. Or that's not true now. But you said for an entire trial it was true. But now it's a Brian Higgins. It's completely illogical to me. They don't have a defense, so they're making up a defense. That's fine. But you might as well just say it could have been anybody, just wasn't her, and here's why. That's not what they're doing. They're trying to ruin lives instead of saying, she didn't do it. Fair play. I'm good with that. She didn't do it. She was here. Couldn't have been her. Not her taillight. Something else happened. We don't know who did it. That's more logical than going from all of these people who were at a party, beat the hell out of them. Their dog with only one set of teeth bit them, scratched them up, threw them out in the yard. But no, now that's not it. Brian Higgins was jealous. So now this, are you serious? You can believe she's innocent altogether, but why make up all these other stories? I don't understand it. I'm pro, if she's innocent, she's innocent. I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is you've changed your story every 3 months because you realize throwing pasta against the wall didn't stick. And I'm also not good with grifting. I'm really not good with that, which I think we all know. If you watch me for any bit of time, I'm not good with that. Taking money and telling people they should eat less so that they can support Karen Reed while she's got new teeth and a $2,000 suit, I have a problem with. And I'd have a problem with, it wouldn't matter it wouldn't matter. If Donna Adelson did it, I wouldn't like it. I would not like it. Mm-mm. I was reading all about these fundraisers in Massachusetts and what the disclosures are and how taxes are done. And it's a lot of technical stuff goes into these fundraisers. So if you have a fundraiser in Massachusetts, and I'm not an accountant, but I can read, and you expect something. So right now they're doing dinner tickets. To where? Golden Corral? It doesn't really say. It just says dinner. You're expecting something in return. Do you know that winning, even if it's dinner, like say it's a high-end dinner, let's say it's Michelin's, $500, you got to pay tax on that? Do you know that? That happened to me once. Pennsylvania, it's a Commonwealth, just like Massachusetts. And I won a stereo. Now, that stereo on a good day was not worth more than $1,000. But do you know they sent me a 1099 at the end of the year for like $5,000, and I had to pay tax on that? They could have said it was $20,000, and I would have had to do it. So whatever the value is, they're going to have to give 1099s to these people, especially if it's over $600. It's just, raise your money, do it on the up and up. Stop playing with people. Stop sending your brother out, who's a car salesman. I used to sell cars before you come at me, so I know what they do. to sell your shit when you stayed in a hotel the entire time. The entire time you stayed. You could have stayed with your parents. You could have stayed with a friend if you have any. You may not. I don't know. But you're staying in a hotel. You're bragging about it on the 2020 and the Dateline. And we're paying, not we, but the public is paying for this. You have the money. I know what you owed on your house. I know what you sold your house for. You have the money. You've got pro bono attorneys, which I still don't understand. Look, stick to one story. Either say, I'm innocent and I have no idea how that man landed there, which is probably you were better off to begin with, or just stop. I don't mind if she's proven innocent, she's proven innocent. Proven not guilty, she's proven not guilty. I honor that. I may not like it. I may not always agree with whoever the trial's about. But why change your story every quarter? Come on. At some point, this has got to like ring true to free Karen Reed. She's already free. She's out on what, $50,000 bail. That's it. I couldn't believe that when I read it. $50,000. She's free. So I don't even understand FKR free or she is free. Why you got to pick a different story every week? Could someone please explain it to me? You're either innocent and someone else is guilty and you know no idea, but you're like, he had the hots for me. I don't know if y'all read those text messages. I don't think Brian Higgins really had the hots for her at all because it just doesn't make any sense. And then why not blame the snowplow driver? Why not? If it's just hard to prove intent, like say, like she says in the one video you watch and it says, I might have hit him, but I didn't hit him hard enough, or I might have stunned him or something like that is the quote. I forget. And it's been played a million times. And I didn't know. Then you didn't know. Then you had no intent. You left because you didn't know. Very different experience. We have a situation which I want to talk about today here in town, which does have a tie to Dan Markel, which you'll be shocked. It's so sad to me. This woman who I like, I admire, she's a real estate agent, is a victim of a white collar crime. She has a relation. I'm 100% sure she knew Dan Markel and Wendy. But we're being told we can't prove intent. How does Leon County ever convict anyone unless they have it on video? Because that's what it sounds like. Intent. So she could have just sat and said, oh my God, I hit him. I hurt my boyfriend. I had no idea, which is why she ended up in a mental hospital, by the way. People forget that. So she had some moral compass kind of thing. And I have no idea. I had no idea I did it. I backed out. I got stuck in the ice. I sped up. Didn't know I hit him and I went home. But that's not what happened. And that's not what she's doing. She's blaming everybody in the world, hoping it sticks. Well, statistically, most people on the second trial lose because the state knows what's to do. And that's a statistical truth. Taterbug says Karen's going to go down on this trial. Can't wait to see what she looks like in orange. I don't know what color they wear in Massachusetts. However, statistically, that is the truth. We don't have a national language. I hate to say this, but we only just got a national bird. Okay. It was the turkey for a really long time, and then it wasn't anything. So we just got the eagle as a national bird. We didn't even have a bird, let alone a language. No, we don't have another national language, but how the is an elementary school teacher going to teach? You have to know English here to survive. You just do. If I went to move to Italy, it would really suck for me. No, we won't say Italy. We would say France. France doesn't like Americans. So be it. I just watched Marie Antoinette. I get it. I don't know French. They're not telling me where to get the best cheese. If I'm in Paris, I have to go on the outskirts. So we don't have a national language, but we have a national language. We don't have one written somewhere like the eagle, but we have it. Hold on one second. What did La Belvedere say? Oh, nice, SD. Thank you. I am poorly educated. I've said that. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, 2 years at Temple University, 2 years to become a nurse. And then I just went back to school to get 2 degrees. But I really appreciate your comment. Because this is what happens. Instead of having a true debate, people have to cut someone down. So, SD, you can go fuck yourself. There's just no reason for it. So go fuck off. I had to go through medical and interview to graduate in. I had to go through medical and an interview to graduate school in the US. Oh my. Congratulations. Thank you, Orly. I still wanted to see where. No, SD can go bye-bye. She can leave. I don't want to block people, but anyone who attacks my education can go fuck themselves. And I've said that to my family members. So I'm not going to deal with it. Hi, Zach. How are you? Sorry I'm late, but great win for the Eagles. If you know, you know. Oh, it is. It's Eagle. Eagle. Like bagel. It's not bagel. It's bagel. Who wants to report? Is that person? Just get rid of her. Go ahead. We're disgusting. You're gone. I hate doing it. I really don't like it, but you're gone. I can't handle it. You like my blouse? Thank you. It came from Dillard's, like most of my stuff. Thank you. Sandra says, my comment wasn't that assimilation should be the goal. I was suggesting that it takes a community. It does, but it also takes one-on-one. I just think when you have, I don't know how many people we have here, 300 million people, and you just start dumping busloads of people here and trains, which is what Biden did, not trains, airlines worth, it's just too hard. And there's no preparation. So you're asking, a community to take them in, but there's no preparation for that community. So I just heard there's a whole, I don't want to talk about it because I'll get so upset, I think it's called Cedar Ridge, maybe in Texas. Real estate developer, has this whole town of immigrants, illegal immigrants. He's basically using them as slaves. I hope I'm wrong. I just can't. Those insane people come from FKR have to be blocked, not anymore. No, it isn't. And it's like, it's just like we were talking about today about Donald Trump and, he sits there, he can sit down. You may not like the man. Man could talk to anybody. He's a hell of a communicator. And when I watch him, I learn, I sit with rooms with people that may or may not like me. I have social media where I know people don't like me. So I'm prepared. But it's how you talk to someone. And he's He's just going on like he's shaking Obama's hand. They're yucking it up. You know, they're at Jimmy Carter's funeral. They're having a giggle. George W. Bush rubbing Obama's belly, which was like, he likes the guy. Like, you could just tell they like each other, even though they're on opposite sides of the aisle. But on anywhere else in social media, that's just gone. The days of Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House here for a very long time, Irish guy, they would have their debates and then they would go have a bourbon. Now, I mean, they won't even cross the street near each other. And I just think that's so sad. If you're going to cut down someone's education because, I don't know, you feel like it, it's so sad to me. I went to Mass today, and I'm going to get this wrong, but my priest, who I love, was talking about Nehemiah and Ezra. And Nehemiah and Ezra were dictating to the Jews, I'm going to get it wrong, so just bear with me, it's not going to be perfect, about Leviticus and the commandments, and these are the rules of the land, and this is the order, and this is how it goes. Well, the priest described, like, it's created a division, the way it was done. It created division amongst the Jews. You know, they were here first, they came out of exile first, now they're here first, and you know, you're in my room, and it's just like a big family. You're in my bed, get out of my bed, you're in my room, why are you in my room? Same idea. So the way it's done is creating division, and I felt like, God, that's everything today. It's the way it's done is creating division. It's you, instead of, why is it a community? I mean, she said it. Why is a community not able to assimilate you? Well, first of all, they probably don't have the funds. Second of all, they probably didn't know you were showing up. Third of all, they don't have infrastructure. If I have one complaint about Leon County in this town, is they'll build a whole slew of houses and they have no infrastructure. The roads come in last, the water comes in last. Schools, God forbid we have a new school. That's not happening. So you have all these people. We had 45,000 people move to this town last year. When they did it, it's a strain on the electric, it's a strain on the water, it's a strain on the sewer, it's a strain on the roads, it's a strain on, we don't have enough roads, we don't have enough red lights. God, we do not. We don't have that. It's no different. The community here is not ready for a big influx of people because they don't want them. Leon County is an old town. It's closed. They really don't want new people here. They see us as carpetbaggers, which is probably true. Wawa moves here. They're like, boycott Wawa, blah, Wawa. Why we got to go to Wawa? We have enough gas stations. We don't need a Wawa. Patty needs a Wawa, okay? I need a Wawa. But we're not ready. This county is not ready for all of those people to come here. They're not ready for the school size because we have limited school size. We're not ready for books. We're not ready. We're not ready. I can list to you the things we're not ready for when 45,000 people show up in 12 months. We're just not. And that was a great thing that Sandra wrote because it's the same thing. Legal, illegal. This town, 212,000 people, isn't ready for a big influx to come here and show up in the school. And you try to help the children that are moving from North Dakota, let alone Colombia. So it's the same. It's not different. God gave the Jews the law to keep them separate to himself, or that would be affected still by paganism, which is what the second part of that story is with Nehemiah and Ezra. And there was something, Debbie, he mentioned today in a separate paragraph. I took some notes, but he was talking about the Samaritans. And so they told the Samaritans who were married to pagans, like, you could be married to a pagan. They just can't. The pagans can't live here. So the pagan and the children of the pagan have to go. I was Catholic, married to a Baptist, kind of how I felt. But it's, it was the lay of the land and it caused division. If he gives all, if he gives all the JAF, I know, I'm so excited for the JFK. Well, they released some of those from Martin Luther King, and I don't think a lot of the people, I don't know a lot about Martin Luther King's personal life, aren't going to like it. They're not going to like it. NBM, Trump is the only one that has ever fought human trafficking. Yeah. I spent a summer at the Jersey Shore and learned about Wawa. Isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. They have better ice. Hi, Linda. Thank you very much. The man was chosen by God for his time. Everybody needs to recognize that. Well, not everybody. I know what you're saying, but like not everybody recognizes everything. Shit, not everybody recognizes the red light that's out front. I'll tell you what they don't recognize. They don't recognize walking. They don't. This town, we've had like 15 people killed because of jaywalking. Not recently, but in the recent past. They don't recognize crosswalks. They're certainly not going to recognize Donald Trump or any other law. Water's a huge issue in your little town in Western North Carolina. I believe it. Wawa has Tesla chargers and free air. And tasty cakes. And great subs. And Utz potato chips. Don't get me started. He did make big changes in less than a week in North Carolina victims. Oh, he's set. Dude, that press conference was something to behold when he brought those very poor people up from Western North Carolina and said to the guy, did you see the guy in the tan jacket with the beard? Nice looking guy with his kid. What was your insurance company's name? And the guy said, what was it? Western North Carolina. It was North Carolina Farm Bureau is what he said. North Carolina Farm Bureau. So he called him out right there. I loved it because they are screwing people over. Because that guy, much like myself, you get a quote. Your insurance company is going to go with the lowest quote with the lowest repair, 100%. So insurance company sends to this one person who was on with Donald Trump and sends out a guy to give a quote. Guy gave, a responsible quote where it was high. Insurance company found someone to give a lower quote for half the work that needed to be done. And that's the problem. Rebecca, you still have half of your lawn covered in snow. I do not. Praise the Lord. Debbie, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Nehemiah and Ezra created division. They're humans. And I'm just telling you what the priest said. And he said Nehemiah and Ezra, by the way they handled it, created division. It's like saying that Peter didn't create division. Peter created division. We're human. We create division. Folks at the high levels get along. It is horrible what happens. I know. Hi, Lori. I married an American. I'm Canadian and had to go through all the paperwork, documentation, legal. How long did it take you? I know it takes forever. Paris is a beautiful city. I just don't think they like Americans. Did you guys watch Marie Antoinette? It's on PBS. It was beautifully done. I know. So sad about the missing. Some of it is just really hard for me. Resources have to be, like Patricia lives in the UK, resources have to be considered. It does. Not every state is capable of taking care of a huge amount of people. It's just too much. It doesn't mean that the children shouldn't be loved. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't love one if I had. It just doesn't mean that. But I don't have the wherewithal to take care of any child at this point in my life, let alone another country. It's just a lot. There's no naughty corner for FKRs. They're horrible. It really is bad. I mean, it was like, I was like, what did you just say to me? Aiden? Don't you have enough problems yourself, Aiden? No. But no, Rebecca, you wouldn't tell me that you wished I would die or that my children would die or that my parents are already dead, but my parents would die and we would all get cancer and leprosy and blah, blah, blah. That's what he was saying. And really, Rebecca, it's the people on X who hide in anonymity. If they have to give their real name or you find out their real name, they really aren't like that. I really don't believe it. I think it's more of what I told Murder by Maestro is people want to feel part of a community, which is exactly what Sandra was saying. People want to feel part of a community. They want to be about something bigger than themselves. That's what true crime affords them. They're sitting at home like I was the last few days, and that gives them that opportunity that we wouldn't normally have. Look at what we created here. I didn't create this. People here created this. And that community makes people, I'm grateful, makes people feel good. It's no different than, I hate saying that, like a high school situation. You're in high school, you feel kind of out of place. You believe she's innocent, which I know Rebecca. I've met her several times in person. She truly believes she's innocent. Again, don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the people who stand behind the anonymity of it all and cuss every person out that may have a disagreement with you. That's my challenge. And led by a guy who's being paid. This isn't a guy, Turtle Boy, who is out of the kindness of his heart. I'm carrying a flag for her because I truly believe she's being railroaded. That is not what's happening. He's paid big numbers, and I hope she's paying him per key because he's going to need it when he goes to court. Per key. Did you guys hear the Young Jerks guy? Is it Young Jerks? Did I say it right? YouTube guy, Michael Crawford. He's being sued for defamation for something similar because people are like, you can't say these things without this accommodation. You have to disclose that you're paid. You have to disclose that you're working on this team's behalf, which again is fine. All fine. I'm a capitalist. I'm for it. You believe she's innocent? She's innocent. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is that you're telling strangers that they're uneducated. Fair. Some people would say I don't have the proper education. I'm not an elitist. I don't try to be. But that you are wishing them death. Come on. I hope bad things happen to you. Really, Aiden? That's what your mother raised you to be like? No, she didn't. You're a good Irish boy. Stop it. It's the whole flies and honey thing, right? You come out like a hornet against people because literally someone said, this guy Sam, we'll call him Sam because that's his Twitter handle. He's like, you have no idea what is going to come upon you. What, the plague? What are you talking about? What is going to come upon me? They were sharing my mugshot. Don't care. They were sharing my weight, apparently, what they thought was my weight. Don't care. They were sharing like my bad haircuts over time. Don't care. But like that is not going after me personally is not going to change my mind about Karen Reed. What changes my mind about Karen Reed is thinking, could it have been the snowplow guy? Could it have been the lady up the street who protests too much? Could it have been her? I mean, that's my challenge with it. Could it have been any of those people? Because I was not there. Just no different than the Melody Fairs. Who had the most opportunity? It was only her because she was the only one on the property to do anything. Sarah Boone, same thing. Hers was on tape, so that's easier. But like, there's a lot of ways Sarah Boone could have presented that defense and gotten away with a lot more than she did. That's all. Just somebody who watches it. If If something is too good to be true, it is often a lie. And don't hide behind the anonymity. That's my other thing. Like, it's like, you want to call me or whomever on social media a name. And that's what I wrote to these people as they're threatening and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Who are they going to call? They're like, we're calling your boss. I am my boss. I am my boss. You can't, who are you going to call? My parents are dead. Who are you going to call? They don't like that because they want to think they have something over you. I don't think that's how you win people over to your side, especially someone who's quite open-minded about it. I think I am open-minded about it. I am not. I just wish if Karen Reed were innocent, which innocent until proven guilty, but I'm not an attorney and this is not a court of law. I wish she would have stayed with one story. I would have a lot more respect for her if she said, this is what happened that night and stuck with it no matter what. Because that's what you do with the truth. You stick with one story and say, this is what happened no matter what. And then it's not a big deal. Showing my mugshot is not a big deal to me. I was cute that year. I was good with it. I was quite thin. I still had freckles. All of that is okay. But coming at somebody and wishing them, because my parents are already dead, death to your parents is like, how does that get me to win to your side? I don't know. I just don't see it. You can have all the degrees in the world, but if you don't have people skills, none of it matters because you can't convey what you have. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I'm going to take it as a compliment. I believe I have people skills. I wish mine were better. I practice mine, which is why I've watched Harvard Debate Club for the last 20 years. Like, I watch presentation so that I can be better person to person. I get so lost with acronyms, even though my name is my initials. I know. But you're not threatening someone. Like, people who do that behind fake names, it's just ridiculous. But the guy who left me a review, it was his real name. Stupid. He should have made up a new YouTube, a new Gmail with a fake name, but that's not what he did. It was his real name. So easy to find too. Let's talk Donna. Sarah was a joke, was the first case I followed. Donna is the case. So can I tell you what happened here in town? It is a tie to the Markells, so we will switch because that was what I love about YouTube is it really helps me with my skills, keeping my mind going all the time. So, white collar crime and its connection with Dan Markel. If you recall, when you watched 2020, I'm sure you remember the best friends of Dan Markel, and I believe their last name is Greenberg. And they were friends. They live in Cairo, Georgia. There was a beautiful couple. Like, she is stunning. She is a really pretty girl with a beautiful voice. I probably could pull up a video of her. But one is a dentist and one is a veterinarian. And lovely people. Well, I know their mother. And I've known their mother for 22 years, something like that. Her name is Julie. And Julie would literally give you everything she owns, which in this case, she basically did. Another realtor, we'll call her Danielle. I'm not hiding behind names in this case because it's public record. Danielle is another realtor. And I don't know how long she's been licensed, but enough to know. She actually is a title agent, which in Florida, to close properties, you do not need to be an attorney. You can be what's called a title agent. And those title agents work under the Department of Financial Services. She's a real estate agent and she's a real estate broker. And she's a franchisee of what's called Realty One. Realty One is a national franchise that may or may not care what I'm about to say. So Danielle Andrews, to my knowledge, went to Julie, who is, oh, let me see how old Julie is, but she's not young. We're talking about this woman's life savings. So I'm looking up Julie's age. And it's not to make this better or worse, just to give you an idea. She is from Israel. She is one of the loveliest people you will ever meet. She's 73. And I can't even describe to you how lovely she is. I mean, when I say it, I'm like, I mean it. Short little thing, really dark hair, has an accent. So Danielle, who's tall, dark, pretty girl, heavy set. I don't know how long she's been licensed, but again, you only need to be a licensee for 2 years to get your brokerage. So she has her own brokerage. So she had some money at some point. She went to Julie and asked Julie to help her buy a building. Julie, she talked her into it. Julie gave her a mortgage. So Julie gave her $400,000. This woman, Danielle, bought 2 buildings. The problem was they were already mortgaged. So Julie is the second lien holder. She didn't disclose to Julie that she already had the buildings mortgaged. She used the timing because she's a title agent and a real estate broker. She used the timing to basically, allegedly, I'll say, defraud Julie. Friday, another realtor, a third person, came to me and said, Patty, have you seen this? I said, no. So I read it. I had to look up who it was, the case numbers. The reason why I believe this got missed when the work was done was because she used 2 different names to take out these mortgages. One was called, let me get it, Andrews, let me get it right. Sorry, I gotta go to the top of the page. This is long. One was made out to her personal name, and the other one was to Andrews Management and Development Group, LLC. So the only reason I bring it up with the Markells is because Julie's daughter was best friends with Dan Markell, and it's a small town. So this woman, had 2 mortgages, didn't tell Julie. She made 2 payments to Julie, and then it had a balloon on it that would be, I think the balloon was due this year or last year. The balloon was due last year. She made 2 payments on it, and this is talking about 2022, and then stopped making it, wouldn't take Julie's call. So Julie is out $400,000 because the house already has, the building, house, office, already has liens on it. She's out $400,000. She will never get that money back. Danielle is not innocent. Jack Campbell, our beloved state attorney, who ran unopposed, so we can't even figure that out, offered to take a meeting finally with the girl who told me about this. She told me because I'm a loudmouth with the real estate board. And I have a radio show about real estate and YouTube. And I told this girl who came to me, and I said, I'm going to put it on YouTube because it's an older Jewish woman who was defrauded. And I'm not saying that lightly because I'm not a judge. I'm saying it because a judge said she was defrauded. So the woman had numerous, white collar crime is a vicious cycle because she has numerous foreclosures against her and numerous frauds. And Judge Cooper, Leon County Court judge, said this is criminal fraud. It's what's really stunning, no different than a murder case, Wendy Adelson, is getting someone to charge them. You have to prove intent. You have to prove intent. What do you mean you have to? Intent, signing the documents in one name and then another name shows intent. That shows knowledge. It says one document, first mortgage is in the business name, and the second mortgage with our Julie, who we all love, there is no one who doesn't like her, is in her personal name. There's the intent. So I'm going to go through all these documents. I'm going to splice them and dice them, and I'm going to send them to our mutual friend and give them to her. And that's your intent. If you stood that up in front of a court on a big whiteboard and said, on this day of this month, you took out the mortgage in your business name, and on this day of the same month, in the same year, you did it in your personal name, and you're a title agent, and you're a real estate broker, which gives you knowledge on how to do it, and you close all your stuff at the same time. So she lost her title company, which I'd go into separately. But so she uses the same title company. Why is this title company not disclosing this? Like, why is that? Why is she using the same title company for everything? So poor Julie is out close to $500,000. And before I announce it on YouTube, I asked our mutual friend, and I said to her, does the daughter know? And she's like, she has to know. She's been putting up with this for years. Because that money's gone. And Leon County, it is really hard to get anyone charged. And I don't understand it. Maybe someone on here like LaBelle V, who is an attorney, maybe someone could explain it to me, like, because I have a poor education, like a fourth grader. Because I don't understand intent. You're a real estate broker, and you know how to close every time. I'm sure if you bought a home, especially in Florida, you sit down, the title person, whether it's an attorney or a title agent, is looking at you. One of the questions they always ask you is, did you take out a mortgage on this property that we don't know about? I've only ever experienced the word no. The client always says no. In this case, it wasn't the same. It was a yes. And she knew, because she's a title. Even if she wasn't a real estate broker, she's a title agent. To me, that carries more weight here, being in real estate. It's like, as an appraiser, I know more than your average real estate agent would know. And she's still licensed as a title agent for now. So the wheels of justice are obviously slow. This has been 3 years. This poor woman is out her money. $400,000. It was her retirement. That's all she had. And she gave it to this girl. And this girl knowingly took the money, knowing she'll never get it back. The woman will never get it back. She stopped making 2 payments, and that was it. So I don't know, but white collar crime, murder crime, it's really hard to get people charged here. Same state attorney, same felonious thing. You can murder someone in a very different way. You can still be alive and be dead. That's all I got. It's tragic. Absolutely tragic. Woman has nothing. So I don't know where Jack Campbell is on this stuff, but I think you can prove intent. I know very little about the rules of evidence, but I think you just throw the paper up there. You get 12 people, 6 in this case. I don't think it's that hard. She's never getting the money back if she goes to prison. There is that. But when all of these realtors, I'm just the mouthpiece, and I am saying I am a mouthpiece. I am not paid to do it, but I am a mouthpiece. When all these realtors get done with this girl, Danielle, she won't have a license. She won't have a license, she won't have a place to work, and she won't have a franchise. Because these people, Julie's friends, have already called the franchisee, Realty One, and said she doesn't deserve a franchise. What gets me the biggest is this. When you're in a real estate board, just like any trade organization, there's a board of directors. This woman, Danielle, was just voted to be on our board of directors, knowing all this is in her present. It's not even in her past. Like my shit's in my past, hers is in her present. So none of us knew it. She has a right to vote. So we're a republic in the Association of Realtors. It's not a democracy. We don't each get a vote because that creates chaos. So she is one of our voters. So if something comes up to the table and says, we want to raise our MLS dues to $1,000 a year, she gets a vote. If she wants to put a lien on a building for something, she gets a vote. She doesn't deserve a vote. So I don't know if you know this, but the National Board of Realtors isn't very helpful when it comes to actual real life realtors. Not helpful at all, unless it comes to taking your money. And so I don't know if anyone here that's watching is a member of the Tallahassee Board of Realtors or the Florida Realtors. I would ask you to, I can always put an email up to write our board, and we need to ask for her resignation. I don't believe that there's anything in our, which there should be, in our bylaws that gets rid of her. But I think, hey, Danielle, you did this to Julie. I see maybe allegedly an ethical violation here. Maybe if you are listening and you are a member of the National Association of Realtors, or you are a person who works under the franchise Realty One, I would ask you to write your franchisor, Realty One, and say, hey, I have a franchisee who owes over $1 million in debt to people she can absolutely not pay and knew she couldn't pay when she did it. And Judge Cooper, bless his heart, said this is criminal fraud. So I'm going to go with that. But I would contact me, 850-656-0009, or pattyisfunny@gmail.com, and I'll get you to the right person. Because Julie Pope, I mean, I don't even know what to tell her. Will you trust someone that much? Because she obviously, how she knew her, I don't even know how she knew Danielle. They weren't in the same circles. They weren't under the same franchise. How she knew her, I don't know. How Danielle picked Julie is a bigger question. I would like to know how she made her a target. But it's disgusting. And so if anyone here is a real estate agent, a realtor that would help me get this woman out of our board, I would, through shame, because that's all I got right now is shame. I would really appreciate it. So I gave you my information, and contact me anytime. Hey, living in Tallahassee. They were both in my class at KW. I didn't realize she was that Danielle had ever been at Keller Williams. So let me get back to your little, my little chat room. I didn't know you had a mugshot, Patty. I really enjoy your show. Oh, I have a mugshot. I do fight back. You have to take me down over stupid stuff. Degree equals indoctrination, not education. Well, I would disagree, because I went for cybersecurity and I certainly learned a lot. So I know I was not indoctrinated. I was educated, because now I can hack better. me go back. The first police update on the news told they had a video of her. So maybe she thought could have. Interesting. Oh, I'll give you that. I can smell crazy a mile away. Chiefs 14, Bills 10. I hope it's changed. DM, yes. I'm just trying to sort it all out in my head. My daughter went to college in D.C. and came out brainwashed. Oh, I believe it. I do believe it. Well, thank you, Tippy Dog. Debbie says, oh, yes, they say some juicy things. I love reading her comments. I do name her. Oh, living in Tallahassee. I will name her. Your passport picture looks like a mugshot. Hey, Paula, how are you? Is Julia Greenberg? No, it's her daughter. So her daughter's married name is Greenberg, I believe. Am I getting it right? Let me check. Yeah, her daughter's Maya. Yeah, it is Greenberg. I was right. And calls them out. Yeah. You were waiting to hear my version of Living Tally. Broker, you sounds like a crook. She is. It's like, you look, come on. Let me show you. Let me get it up here. This is it. This is her docket. This is not defamation because it's true. So there's a thing in realtors. See, mortgage, mortgage, mortgage. This is the one. This is the guy who stood up, Cooper. And then the other docket's even bigger. It's just a mess. But Cooper is the one that called her out and said, no, I don't think that's going to be the way it works. And then the other problem is she doesn't show up for subpoenas. Look at all that. It's a mess. So she gets a final judgment. Look, return for service, unknown. Return for service. She doesn't show up. She doesn't show up to court. She's not even showing up to court. Return of service, return of service, return of service. How do you get away with that? Like, how do you get away with it? She can't. So Julie can't take the building because she's second in command. You know, when you have a mortgage and a promissory note, there's 1, 2, and 3. Julie's 2. She didn't get anything. Cross-point motion for order compelling answers. There's no answers. There's no nothing. Nothing. Just look. Nothing. No one's showing. No one's making her show. No one's going to her office and saying, get here in court. None of that. Hi, Moonchild. How are you? Civil, so no one shows. Oh, Johnny Depp. How are you? Hi, Eric. This week, someone offered me to buy half their condo and leave name on the deed unchanged. Do I look dumb? She's been licensed since 16. So she knows better. Yep. How did that happen? The addresses would have showed a mortgage already on it. How did it? That's what we're trying to find out. That's why you always have an attorney. She had an attorney. Danielle has no liability insurance, but it wouldn't be under her personal insurance anyway, unless she carried personal. I mean, I just figured out when I read it this afternoon and I was talking to living in Tallahassee that it was two different names on both mortgages. That's how she did it. And here's the kicker. So a lot of people, including myself, doesn't even know that this little thing existed. This is called a UCC file. I didn't know until recently what this was. So I can't really show it for very long because it has people's names and address on it, right? So YouTube doesn't like that. But that form is under the UCC. Let me see if I can find it. It's a fascinating search. I found out about it this time last December 2024 because of a similar broker who didn't deserve to have a brokerage. So this is what it's called. It's a Florida Secured Transaction Registry. And so what you do is you go to the debtor individual name and then you put the name in here. And then you find out if they have a lien against themselves. And they do. So how it works when you're paid commission, the title company receives the proceeds. They disperse. So they hand out the money for how we're all paid. The broker is the owner of the contract. The broker is the owner of the commission. So when we are paid here in Florida, the check is made out to the brokerage. I'm the broker of record. So it's made out to the brokerage. And then I determine as the broker of records, the senior broker, how the checks are cut. Danielle is her own broker. So her brokerage is called, it's a DBA, doing business as. Dare Group something something. It's like got longer names, but it's DARE Group, which is probably Danielle, her last initial, real estate is probably where she got it. I just thought of that. So Dare Group. So the check is cut to Dare Group, and then she disperses it to herself. She's the agent, so she's taking her own money. What she's not doing is because she's under garnishment under her personal name and her development company name. Lord knows the only thing she developed is a foreclosure, and she's not garnishing herself. So the check cuts to me. I'm Dare Group. I should be cutting a personal check as salary to myself, Danielle. She's not garnishing. Julie is under garnishment. She should be getting all of her commission checks, but she's bypassing that because she's her own brokerage. And that's where I have an even bigger problem with it. It's one thing to screw up, you pay the woman back. That's not what you're doing. You are literally avoiding the garnishment with every commission check. And she's all over social media. Ooh, look what I closed. Ooh, look what I closed. Meanwhile, she's not paying Julie a thing. She should be garnishing herself. It's not happening. I don't know what kind of charge that would be. Like, who is the person that you go to on that says, it can't be the IRS. I don't know. Is it just Judge Cooper? Judge Cooper, she's not garnishing herself. Is that who you do? I don't know. So I'm asking. Yes, corruption everywhere, Tippy Dog. There's corruption everywhere. Judge Cooper. Why hasn't Julie filed on her? She has. She has garnishment. They went to Keller Williams was all of ours. When Abby started, I worked at Keller Williams. When Danielle started, there's 400 people at Keller Williams. So apparently Danielle and Julie met there. And that's how they became close. Justice for Julie. Go get him, Patty. And why didn't anyone see a mortgage already on the property? That's Debbie, she timed it. It was at the same time. So there wasn't enough time when the first one, that's what they ask you, right? When you go to sign. Have you taken out a loan, or is there any other mortgage? You sign an affidavit saying you didn't take out a recent loan on this property. But in her case, she did. So say it was within a week, it's not recorded. That's why they ask you and you sign an affidavit in Florida at every closing saying you didn't take out a mortgage on this property, and she did. Something is odd. Did you say Julie's daughter? No, her daughter's not an attorney. Her daughter is either, one of them is a dentist. I think it's her husband that's a dentist, and she's a veterinarian. Hi, Lori. How are you? One is a dentist and one is a vet. I had to get one past renewal. I remember because I have awful pics like, oh, your driver's license. Yeah, title agent does hold more weight. I thought so, Giovanni. Orly says, I'm an attorney and this isn't right. It isn't. But I didn't know she even told her daughter. I didn't want to come on here and say anything. Not that they're watching me, but, and she didn't even tell her daughter. Because that to me was like, I don't know that I would tell my daughter. I don't know. Who does the title agent know in Campbell's world? I don't know what that means. She lied about why she wanted the mortgage, and she was aware that a mortgage had already been retained. Correct. Her hiding her personal name and a company name is a con. What was reason for needing the money? We have no idea. We have no idea. She doesn't live large that we can tell. We have no idea why she took all that money on an already mortgaged building. We have no idea. The bright side is exposing the corruption in the police department investigators. I hope so. You can't trust anyone anymore, and they wonder why people will not give to charities. Oh, yeah. I'm very, very careful about who I give to. Where I live, they often don't prosecute these kinds of fraud cases. They tell the aggrieved to sue civilly. Well, she's already done that, and she'll never see it. The problem is, she's still a title agent. She can still close. If you're going to commit, it's just like if they tell you and you get on the stand and you lie, and then the jurors say, well, if you lie about one thing, that's right, that closing arguments, they lied here. So if they lie here and we can prove it, they tell the jury, you've lied about everything, right? So if she lies here and she defrauds here, what about all the way over here? She's still closing property. She's got errors under her title agent license. Like, why are we allowing her to have a license? Why are we allowing her to conduct business in a way that is supposed to be, quote, ethical, unquote? Why is the Board of Realtors allowing her to have a level of an position which, frankly, should have had a background check? I'm just saying. Should have had a background check. Some would say. That's the other thing, living in Tallahassee. Talk to, she's going to have a meeting with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell. So this came out on my Facebook group, Living Tallahassee, which it's not the same. Living Tallahassee, and one of the admin, his name is David, knows Jack Campbell. So he went to Jack Campbell and said, hey, Jack Campbell, blah, blah, blah. So Jack Campbell said he would give Living in Tallahassee a meeting. So Julie's an older woman. I mean, she just doesn't, probably exhausted by all this. So, but I would mention that Living in Tallahassee, that if that fraud can be proven, what is it, at age 65? Isn't it a Florida fraud over age, I think it's 65, carries more weight? Yes, in the exploitation of a person 65 or over that is valued. Ooh, thank you, Leslie. Leslie works with the elderly, so she would probably know. So here it is. I'm going to put it in here, Living in Tallahassee. Right there. A person who violates section commits another felony, which is already a first-degree felony if we can get charges. First-degree punishable as provided by in the funds, assets, or property involved in the exploitation of a person 65 of age or older, and she's 73, so that would have fit. Thank you, Leslie. That's perfect. Thank you, Michelle. Tippy says, I like you shining light on fraud. I donated. Oh, sorry. So if you don't know, I don't read the comments before I read the comments. KCL Coffee, that's Katie Cool Lady. So she could celebrate with Ms. Markel, Ruth Markel, but trip never happened. KCL never returned the dono. I almost donated to Ross's, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, you got to be really careful. I'm very sorry. You can smell. No, in Florida, we're not an attorney state. New York City, New York is an attorney state. New Jersey's an attorney state. Georgia's an attorney state. Not every state is an attorney state. Danielle scammed her. I bet she has multiple victims. Oh. CEO of charities make too much. Don't they though? Girl, don't even get me started about national charities and what they've done, and my own Catholic charities. I can't even take it. Only Scrivener errors I ever seen. I had to go look it up. Scrivener error is an error when the title agent closes the property and they don't put in the right documents, or they miss a signature or something. That's a Scrivener error. She should have no license. She shouldn't have. The only challenge is if you put her in jail, she can't make money. Although I believe that should happen. What should happen is she should go back to Judge Cooper somehow. I don't know what the rules are. And Judge Cooper should learn that she's not garnishing herself, which is contempt. Living in Tallahassee, there should be a contempt here because she is getting paid. It's obvious she's closing houses, and her title thing's closed. She doesn't have a position at a title company. That's called an appointment, and she doesn't have one because I looked it up. But she is closing houses, and she's not garnishing herself. So to me, that's a violation of the court. But she's not even taking a subpoena, and they're not even forcing that. So it caused her to lose $400,000. Hi, there was another realtor in town here. It must have been 10 years of not paying his taxes. I don't know how long it was, but it was a very long time. It was $150,000 he owed. And it's not like the IRS doesn't give you opportunity, right? Like, hey, we're missing your filing, or hey, we can create a payment plan. They do that. I've had that happen, back in 05 and 06 when it was just so busy. It's not an excuse, but I didn't pay the quarterly. I paid at the end, and they're like, you owe a fine and you have to pay and blah, blah, blah. So you pay. You just set up a payment plan, you pay it off, it's over. It's not what he did. He avoided. And this is how he avoided. He avoided by instructing his broker. I won't even say who that is. His broker to pay him, which they probably didn't catch on that it was going to be tax fraud, evasion, was that he wanted his check cut less than $10,000, which if someone told me that, it would cue me to, what are you trying to fake? Who are you trying to fake out here? 9990, the IRS is going to pick up on that. So that, and he would always cash he would cash these checks for cash, thinking that the government couldn't catch you. Really? You did? Anyway, he's going to be doing time. So that was another realtor. And I'm like, that took the feds to do it. Can't Julie sell the property? She cannot. You know why she can't? Because she's not first person. So when you have liens, you have lien holders, you have positioning. And the bank, which is the first person to get the loan out, Julie was, of course, the second. I don't know how she thought she was going to pay her back in 2 years anyway, but so she did. And so Julie is second. So she doesn't get any money unless they were to somehow sell $300,000 property for $700,000. He's a vet. She's a dentist. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I can smell it. They were expensive. I needed one to look at your practice lease. It was $2,000 for an hour, right? She was targeted. I think so too, but it's just so sad. Like, if she's the dentist, I would go to her as a dentist. Like, I mean, you've all seen her on TV. Like, she is the most gentle woman. Like, she just talks like so sweet. She doesn't even want to say anything bad about Wendy when, you know, and behind her head she's saying bad things about Wendy. But she's not even like, she's just the kindest person. I hate loaning people money. It's so bad. I wouldn't want her to be my broker. That's for sure. That's what we're trying to stop. Who knew real estate is so complicated? There's a reason for real estate attorneys, right? No matter what, she's a crook. It's not friendly. And this is a small town. Hey, Miss Figgy, how are you? But I just thought it was interesting. I don't think living in Tallahassee knew that there was a tie-in to the Markells. But, you know, you have a woman who has a heart of gold, who wasn't born here, who has assimilated, who's done well for herself as a real estate broker, who's a real estate agent, she's not a broker, who's beloved. And you're going to screw her over, you're going to probably pay the consequence, socially, if not financially and legally. No, there is none, Leslie. It's none. Could she do a lien maybe after a civil judgment? She already, if you're talking about my person, she already has a lien and a civil judgment, and the woman is not garnishing herself. That's the thing. You're your own boss, and she isn't garnishing herself. Danielle, let's see if Danielle owns. I don't think she owns anything outright anymore. I think she's lost it all. If she hadn't, she should. Remember, your homestead in Florida is not up for foreclosure. No. Mm-mm. Your homestead in Florida is not. No, she doesn't own anything. Not that I know. Oh, her husband does. If that's him, it may not be him. I'd have to look it up closer. But your homestead is protected against debtors. And a great example of that is Burt Reynolds. So Burt Reynolds went under a long time ago, and he had a dinner theater, and they couldn't do anything as all his money was in his house, and they couldn't do anything. Another great example is O.J. Simpson. So after the civil suit by the Goldmans, he moved to Florida because his NFL pension was already going to be protected. But then his property and everything else, as long as you have a homestead declaration, which is part of our Florida Constitution, which must be like 2 miles long now, then your property, your home, is protected. So they just dump all their money in their house. And as long as they pay their primary mortgage on that, there's nothing anybody can do. A balloon payment is, no, you have regular payments and then the balance is owed at the end of the term. She doesn't have any more attachments. No, she doesn't. I couldn't find a property. It was just a man similar. It's a different person. They just had a similar name to her husband. Patty, those Alexander kids sold the most expensive condo in New York City to a hedge fund guy. Yes. Ken Griffin. Also sold him a house in Miami in the 20s of millions. And they were only in their 30s. And I would love to figure out why Ken Griffin, hedge fund guy, trusted. And I think he was pissed afterwards because they went public with it. Instead of keeping it private, they went public and it blasted everywhere. And I don't think he wanted that. Ken Griffin. But she's so her garnishment is in her development company. Okay, she doesn't really have a development. She has had more foreclosures than you and I can sneeze at, and how she even got that loan. I think it all started like in 21, and I just don't know how she got these loans that she got, but I'm never going to be privy to that, I'm sure. How much what would have cost? I think she used to buy me coffee for the meet and greet with the very What, ask how much this would have cost? I mean, I don't know which tip. Is that what you're talking about? Well, okay. So going back to Katie Cool Lady, different topic. We had a meet and greet back in September that was entered. It was very educational. For my uneducation, it was very educational. She did pay for that stuff. She did. I didn't pay. I bought my own drinks, but I didn't pay for any of the. I was gonna offer to pay for half, but then she was her, so I didn't. When the elites were mean to Patty, I lost all respect. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you gang up on people. This is what just a side note. If you come at me, which is why I don't like blocking people, I will respond. And I don't think people are used to that. I think people think, well, they'll just let it go, or I'm just being funny. No. I'm going to respond. Yeah, she did. But there was more than a few. I mean, I don't know how much they are. Let's see. How much do they pay? What is it? Casa Grande. It's the tapas place, so everything's more expensive there. It's plus they had to get the room. She probably had to reserve the room, and they probably charged a fee. Will they not put the fees on here? Dining menu. Yeah. Nachos. I didn't see it. They were like 20 a piece for the nachos. And she had a couple other things, but they were probably 10 trays of nachos times 2. Like they brought more than one out. So it was several $100s. It wasn't. Well, I mean, I'm looking at their menu. I didn't know how much they were. I've never been there before or after. So the menu says, this isn't the one on Appalachia. Hold on. This is a different one. It's on Thomasville Road. This is Casa Grande Margaritas and Cochinas. Everything has a different name. Sorry. I was looking under the wrong one. There's Nacho Grande is 15. Plus she had like guacamole dip and other stuff. So I think she had like 10 or so. I mean, there were 6 tables, 2 apiece. So there's 12. And then they brought out another tray's worth. So there were probably 20 trays of nachos out there. So she paid for all that, and I'm sure she tipped them. We all paid our own drinks. I don't know how much her donations were. I didn't pay her, so. I mean, she did it. She didn't have to. Her liquor bill, yeah, yes. True story. No, there were more than that, because each table had 2 or 3. Because even our table, like I had one right in front of me, and I ate it. It was good. So probably had 3 per table. Shelly F was at the other end. She could probably remember more than me. But It wasn't all she got for the coffee thing, I doubt. I did not run a breathalyzer on her, but at the end of the night, it got a little weird. They started singing in the parking lot, which I thought was odd. And they started talking about why they had to protect fancy fiction, which I also thought was odd. And then I left. Very odd. Exactly the same as happened recently in the KR trial. Someone got donations to use on food and drink. So that's the problem. Like, I don't know what Florida rules are, but I was reading Massachusetts, which are very similar to Pennsylvania. It's Commonwealth. And they like a tax if they don't like anything else. And there are some really strict, things. And if you pay it, what is it? The website that you pay, Karen Reed, is Pay It To Me. Pay it to me. Yeah, pay it with the number 2. They're out of Michigan. And it's going to Jackson. So it's going to the law office. So I don't know how unless there's like unless that Pay It To Me is only going to Jackson, but these other fundraisers are not going to Jackson. I don't know. I'd have to research more. Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it got really weird. Was there olives? I like olives. Yes, there were. No enchiladas. It was only nachos. It was like that I saw. That margarita, she's holding a big glass. Well, they all come in those big. They don't do like a 2-for-1 at this place. They're nicer. They don't even do it at the restaurant anymore. I had a beer. So my beer, I got the Dos Equis, which was $6 a piece, but I paid my own tab. I never bought her a coffee because it was a late to donate. I found it weird that KCL, she said you needed it. Right? That's what I remember. I do remember in that video when she was on her way to the Markel, the Adelson trial, is the Markel trial. The Adelson, Charlie's trial, that it was, or Donna's trial, that she didn't know about monetizing and she wasn't sure she was going to monetize, and she just didn't really need to monetize or how to. People are trying to send me a coffee and I don't know how to set up a coffee. She learned how to set up a coffee. I don't know how to set up a coffee. I don't use that. I use YouTube. And the reason I use YouTube, people say you should have others. I don't want to lose my YouTube. I do believe that when you post other avenues to get around paying YouTube, they can it violates their terms of service, although people do it. But I'm the person that they would take down. Like, I'm just convinced of that. So I try to follow the rules. Plus, they give me a free way to talk to people. Like, to me, do you know what would cost me to speak to someone for 2 hours on TV time? I couldn't afford it. So that's why I have no problem paying YouTube their due diligence. What? 25 at a time for 5 coffees. Stop. I don't mean to, she did it. Dana says, intermittent fasting does work. I'm down 25 pounds. My husband quit drinking. Oh, nice for you. Well, I have to tell you, I haven't eaten today. Not a word, not a bite. I had a premier shake before I went to church at 10:30, and I have not eaten a bite since. I cannot believe I have been able to go without chewing. So last time I ate, we went out to dinner yesterday at 4:00. So I am 28 hours without eating. I know that's not healthy, but I am ecstatic because I was a person who would nosh on a paper cup if I could. Like, I would nosh on anything. Do I sound hangry? I probably sounded hangry when I told Esty to go fuck off, but that's probably it. Do I feel energetic? Does it make you feel good? Energy. Well, I sit in a chair most of the day, so energy is different for me. It's for other people. I reserve my energy a little bit more. Mine's in my ass. Let's see. I get a little bit of the shakes, but I'm going to eat when I get home. But I get a little of shakiness. Like I get a little, like literally tremors more than anything else. But I have not had anything today. You just finished five gluten-free pancakes. Good for you. There's my husband again. Just 1 second. He keeps calling. Hey, I'm on YouTube like I told you. Are you okay? Yeah, I will be. I didn't come on until 6:30 because of Eagles. I know. All right, bye. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's the thing. The beauty of intermittent fasting, which again, over 24 hours is not the smartest thing I can do. I just ran out a day, is I don't have any fluid retention. I don't know what the cause of that is, but it's amazing because I was really retaining fluid in my face. Like when I would put my makeup on, I would do like you press here. I would have like a finger depression of fluid. Like you would see my fingerprint. I was like, what the? I looked at that the first. I was like, what? Because I always like put like concealer to kind of hide this, right? And I was like this, and I was like, why is my fingerprint staying there? It's gone. It helps reset your mitochondria. Who knew? What that is. I told you that you will be amazed when all of a sudden you realize you're past the 24 hours without meaning to. It is a miracle. I was telling my daughter, I said, Molly, Ollie Mae, I cannot believe it. Like, I cannot believe. I just cannot believe it. I used to go to McDonald's 10 times a week. Easily. Diet Coke, just for a Diet Coke. And then for a meal. Like easily that many times a week. I can't tell you the last time I went to a Diet Coke. I went through a McDonald's drive-thru. Can I even tell you? Even for a Diet Coke. Can't even tell you. It's been a while. I do love their Diet Coke. Most people have cravings, not true hunger. Well, apparently that's what I was suffering from. And I thought it was like, I have that gum, like I keep gum with me all the time because to my mind, it's a dopamine release. I just need to chew, but I'll go through a lot of gum. She could have gotten the Airbnb back. That's not always true. You don't always get it back. Have I watched Jason Fung? I have no idea who that is. I'm sorry, I don't. I started Ozempic today, says Allison. Well, I wish you well. I pray that you do not have side effects. I really do. And I think if you do get side effects, Allison, a friend of mine asked for half. She did like a half dose. I think maybe until her body got used to it. So just check in with your doctor. But good luck to you. Hopefully you have, a good amount of weight to lose and you'll see it quickly. I told you guys about my Temu scale. Don't buy a scale on Temu. Okay, just don't. So I ordered another scale and it should be in tomorrow. I would have, I know that you say that, but when you donate money, you can't dictate how it's divided. Like, I understand the money for intent and I'm not judging that it shouldn't have been given back. I'm just saying when you give someone cash, it's just like when you loan them money, $400,000, where did that money go? You've been doing 18 to 6 for 2 weeks. I'm in the groove. It's like I shut down the kitchen at 5. I'm still a night eater if I want to. I tried 2 meals a day. That didn't last long. I would eat my original intermittent fasting, where I did lose 85 pounds, pretty lush, was, how many hours was it? 8 and 16. So 8 hours of eating and 16. And I had so much weight to lose. I think it came off pretty easily. I'm quite sedentary, sitting in this desk, reserving my energy. And I tried to do like, what was it? Like 12 and like not 18. What would it be? Like only 4-hour window. It just didn't do well. But when I decided, instead of like an hour block of time, like stop, like I could only eat between 3 and 6 or something, women, I said, I'm just eating 1 meal a day. And that, so I may have it at 12, I may have it at 9 o'clock at night, but I'm only having 1 meal a day. That changed it changed my fluid retention. Like that's, even weight, give me weight loss, give me death, love it. But that, not having this, where I would touch my face and you would see, like, I can't even tell you what that was like for me. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I tried to explain it to my doctor, and she was like, sure. She didn't believe it. Her husband flew to Tallahassee because he saw she was imploding. So she told me, KCL told me, that her husband flew to Tallahassee because of the storm, and that, this is to my face, and that they were driving home. Isn't that romantic? And that's exactly what she said. I was like, yeah, that's really nice. But that's what I know. KJ says, wife is a dentist and husband is a vet. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rosemary. But I'm like, that's what she said. She said, I mean, because I didn't know her. Like, I didn't know what I know now. That she said, oh, my husband. I was like, when are you leaving town? Because there's no trial. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to be here for a few weeks, and I'm gonna write my book. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, okay. Yeah, she had to evacuate to Jacksonville, but then the hurricane went to Jacksonville. So 4 hours is too short. I make chicken at 11 was half, then the rest at 4. Then I shut my pie hole. It's amazing because I eat exactly what I want. So Friday we went to Carrabba's. And I only had half a meal because I don't know if it's true or not, but it feels like my stomach has shrank. So I only had half a meal. And then we took the other half home, which is not the way it used to be at all. And that was at 4 o'clock. And then the next day, Saturday, yesterday, we didn't eat till like 4 o'clock. So it's 24 hours. And then now I haven't eaten except for one Premier shake, and it's 28 hours. Oh, he was supposed to mail the USB drive for her book. Did he not mail it? I've had some notices on my IG page inquiring as to why Kathy Monkman, AKL, is enabled to advertise Professor Markel's face as the image for her Buy Me a Coffee money solicitation page. Oh my God. Wesley says that bothers him to no end. Oh my God. I would like to know if the family of Professor Markel condones Kathy Monkman using his face to solicit money from her viewers. Well, I don't have a beeline to Ruth Markel, but it's an easy question to ask. Who knows Jared Ross? I don't. That's a really great question. So she is soliciting donations off of that page. Intermittent fasting does shrink your stomach. You just can't eat very much at a meal. I cannot. Now, I wish the weight was faster, intermittent fasting once a day, but I am eating exactly what I want. So it's not like I'm walking around like I'm only having boiled chicken and a salad at 4 o'clock. That's not happening. So mentally, I feel satiated. I just like saying that word, satiated. And the weight is coming off. I had to go down a bra size, not a butt size. That's still the same. But the bra size, I did have to go down. The only reason Tippy says I'm telling you about my relatively new intermittent fasting is because you motivated, aw, to try it so I'll never forget you. Aw. See? Call me whenever you want. That's what's important. Thank you. I hope it works for you. It worked for me. It really has. I mean, I think it's working for me. I don't think it's a thing where, I mean, if you stop it, it's going to go back. Just like if you're on Ozempic, you stop it, it's going to go back if you don't change the behaviors. And I'm clearly not changing every behavior because I still am eating pasta. But I'm eating it at 4 o'clock and I'm only eating half the amount. I'm still having a piece of bread, although my bread maker is coming tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. So Debbie Gibby, I don't know if she's still on here. Oh, she is. There's your face. There's your face. Debbie has asked for a recipe night, and I was thinking maybe Thursday. I don't have anything Thursday that we could talk recipes on Thursday. So let me know if that works for everybody. Has she mentioned Ruth or the trial yet? I do not watch her. So I am not that person to ask. I pointed out that KCL is using the Buy Me a Coffee site to obtain money from viewers while she's still able to state her YouTube channel is not monetized. She's circumvented. Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, I don't know. Bling is the new black had more information. She sent me a video about that to make sure. I don't do it. Like a lot of people will have like Venmo scrolling across the bottom of your YouTube channel, or, you know, you're just asking to be shut off. You really are. But I don't know. Let me go look. Hold on one second. I don't go to her page very often, as you can imagine. I know she's Katie, what is she now? Katie Kuhu on TikTok. What does she have? Let me see. I have to go to the about thing. Sorry. I don't see it on here. Oh, her rules still say, which is funny because she doesn't take comments. Engage with respect and dignity. Trolling and offensive comments result in enacting my one-strike policy. You will be hidden. She's stealing Cool Cats. That was from, you know, Tiger Lady. She doesn't have... Must be on her other things where she's... Oh. Because she doesn't have a header on here now. I have a header. Let me see. If I touch this, her face isn't gonna... Oh, I think you have to subscribe to see it. I'm not subscribing. But I do know it's on her other stuff. I think it's on her Facebook, right? Isn't it on her Facebook? I think she blocked me. I won't be able to... She blocked me. So Mia, she blocked me on Facebook and she blocked me on Instagram, so I can't see her. I forgot. You were eating a quick dinner. Look at Max. Talking about food. You can ask him, but we think we'll all know what he'll say. Kathy has never has to live solely on any income. No, she hasn't. So why is she trying? I can't speak for that stuff. I'm not that person, so I don't think like that. Lower than the mantle. Well, I'm stealing that line, Patricia. Grifting off the back of a dead man. That's lower than the mantle. That will go into my screenshot Hall of Fame because I've never heard that, but I'm stealing it and I'm using it. And you're lower than the mantle. Scarsdale diet makes you lose weight ahead of time. He was ahead of his time. My daughter-in-law did Ozempic. She quickly lost 80 pounds. Good for her. So I had to, but she had to have her gallbladder out. That happens a lot. When I lost a lot of weight before we moved to Florida, because you can't, in my head, you couldn't be fat living in Florida, but then look at me. My gallbladder out had to come out. When I worked for Nutrisystem, it was a side gig when I was a nurse back in Pennsylvania. There were a lot of people that lost a lot of weight and then had to have the gallbladder out. By using the Buy Me a Coffee website, KCL was able to present that her YouTube channel was not monetized. She used Buy Me a Coffee. Is she still on there? Maybe I was looking at the wrong spot. What's her Explore Creators? God, I hate looking for her. Hold on. Oh, here she is. Stop it. Stop it. What a dumb bitch. Bingo. As you navigate through this journey, this is pain to know. Oh, this is old. These aren't new. She still has it up there. I don't know how these people are going to live with themselves. I ain't going to lie. My video stopped. Yes, Surprise, you're for frying apples. Nice. That's a good pick. Exhibit A. Is that page still running? Yeah, it's right here. Sorry, Kristen, I can't help it. You made French onion pot roast tonight. So I went to, Rebecca, I went to, what is it called? Porterhouse Meat Market. It's up on, as you're going to Havana, which is another county up North Monroe. And they're a sponsor of the Greg Tish Show, which I always say it like that, the Greg Tish Show, which is our morning show on the station. And I walked in, and this has never happened. But he knew who I was. I didn't know who the owner was. I'd never been in there. So his name is Zach. And Zach could not have been lovelier. I was the only person in the store, and it was freezing. And it is a meat market, but it's like a little grocerette. Like it had like crackers and chips and every spice you can imagine, which is what I like to look at, even though I don't cook alike. Like he had allspice. It's really hard for whatever reason to find allspice here. But he had allspice, so I got some. He had some barbecue sauce I'd never seen before, so I bought a bottle and I bought a bunch of meat for the week. And I'm in there and my radio show came on. And he was like, I know who you are. I was like, you do? Don't yell at me. And he's like, no, you have living Tallahassee. I said, I do. And he goes, and this is your radio show? And I said, it is. So I've never walked into a place where my radio show, like I'm hearing my voice in the store while I'm shopping. So it was a pretty cool moment. He was a really nice guy. So I invited him to advertise with us. It's free. And he said he'd take us up on it. But it was really nice. He was a really nice guy. TSP created the art on this page. That's it. I thought it was fancy fiction. No offense. Oh my goodness. A domestic designed a heart space logo and banner. Oh my God. I'm telling you, he had the hots for her. What would be real justice is if the trust fund she lives off dinged because of this Markel. I don't know. Would it? I don't know. I mean, if I were Mrs. Markel, I couldn't watch all these YouTubers talk about my son, or I just couldn't do it. So she's a stronger woman than I am to begin with. She's a click away from changing that setting. Well, you know she watches, so she'll know I know, and I can make fun of her for something else. Oh, yeah, because I shared it, so I'm going to get a copyright ding from him. Leslie says you bought her 5 coffees. What is that, 25 bucks? Yeah, it's 25 bucks. How does this company make money? I got to know. Don't break the law, it says. Don't lie to people. Don't post information you know is false and misleading. Don't victimize anybody. I can't read it anymore. Their terms of service is like check, check. Look at this. I got to share it. I got to go then after that. This is so funny to me. This is the... Don't buy me a coffee's terms of service. Don't break the law. Fair. Don't lie. Don't victimize people. Don't spam. Don't abuse others' personal information. Don't post anything that is unlawful, threatening, abusive, harassing. It's not funny. Oh, so funny. I'm sorry, I thought it was funny. I do too. I think so too. Thank you, video to me on that BMAC page. It felt like she was scolding me, and she said she doesn't know what's going on with me, was observing high holy days and didn't respond quick enough. Oh my Lord have mercy. She has videos on here? Wait a minute. Does she have an about? No, she doesn't even have an about. Oh, this. Hold on.
Good morning, Patricia. Greetings with
That's not me.
Thank you so much. I'm finally getting around to doing my thank yous on this. It's been a busy time, but I really appreciate you sending me those 5 coffees, and they will go to good use, I promise. I appreciate your support on the channel, and you probably caught him taking a little break, going a little cuckoo for a while, but I'll be back. Stronger, just needing a little break for a while. So again, thank you so much for the coffees, and see you soon.
So that was her promise. Am I wrong, Mia? That she would promise people if they sent her 5 coffees, she would send them an individual video like she was Cameo? Does she have a black eye? That was makeup. I think it was makeup. It's so funny. There was an echo because I forgot to turn off one mic to turn on the thing, so I apologize. That's so funny. May I ask you, please? I saw where TSP threatened you. Did we ever find out if you didn't get in trouble for that? I just called law enforcement and made a record and put cameras outside my office in my house. I mean, I reported him to YouTube because it's really all I could do. He's in Indiana. There's nothing. If you can't do anything when someone steals $400,000 from you, you really can't do anything when someone makes a threatening video. You just can't do anything. They laugh at you. They will literally laugh at you. Let me see again. What is it? Buy me a coffee. Let me see if I think she says.
Good morning, Patricia.
No, I think it's just the shadow. I don't think that, because her entire face looks gray. Look at this. Her entire face looks gray from his shadow. It's not. It's not a bruise. See it? It's just lighting. Unless she fell on her face. Maybe she did. Did she fall on her face? Look at that.
Hey, Mary
Look
Beth.
at this. Wait. I got to figure out the microphone here. Hold on. I'm going to mute myself, okay?
Hey, Craig. Well, you have been around for a while. All the way back to Peterson. In some ways, it feels like it's yesterday. In other ways, like a lifetime ago. Thank you so much for the support. I'm having a coffee. Hi, someone. It's taken me a little bit to get around to doing my thank yous for my buy me a coffees, but
My mic is mute. I said, how is it to buy you a coffee if you already have the coffee? I love you in your show, but I have asked, did you watch Karen Retrial? Yes, the whole Brian Regan thing was part of the original trial. But it wasn't. It wasn't the reason, right? It was the McAlberts and the McCabe's and the Capes and the Alberts and the truck and the dog and the whatever. Everything but everything. Now it's going to be retooled defense. It'll be solely how much do you want to bet? Because the dog bite thing's not really going to work out for her, and they know it because of discovery. So they're going after Brian Higgins. And I truly believe she just should have kept her mouth shut and not thrown up some double extortion defense like she is and be done with it. I am unmuted. Oh, here, wait. So sorry. Here we go. Sorry. New equipment. I figured it out. The Nespresso maker makes you life. I've had one of your years. It's not that big of a deal. Buy me paper towels or some shit. I'm not muted. Thank you. I'm glad. Honestly, I watched the trial with no perceived, but my jaw dropped in the first few days of the corruption. I'm not saying the police weren't corrupt, but I'm just saying you got to stick with one path. Like if I were guilty of, say, tax evasion, I'm going to stick with one path no matter what. One story, no matter what. It's easier to remember. It's easier for everything, and stick with it. You can't go like spin the wheel on the wheel of fortune and be like, what should I pick today? That's the problem I have with her. Did you guys hear, to me, when you heard her talking on here, it sounded like Jibs and Jab. Like, I don't know how Jibs and Jab AI'd her voice, but it was really, really close. Coffee is code for sending me more money. Hi, Lorraine. How are you? I think it is mediocre. I do not see why she was hard on for it. I use it for lattes. A Nespresso? I like a Nespresso. I mix mine with my Premier coffee. I don't drink it straight. I don't like it. I'm not muted. I swear to God. I'm not. Oh, I'm not kidding you on that. My husband's no different. He is truly addicted to Bounty. Glass craft pour over. I don't even know what that means. You messed it up with your spelling, murder. You put butt me a new bed. I broke this one having monkey sex. I would have to ask you, if you're on Reddit in the detention center, to stop sharing her video dancing in her hotel room. Could you please stop? It's really hard. It's hard. Wild monkey sex. Max and I were texting about that earlier. Carafe. I know, but I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand pour over coffee. Is it like a French press? No. How long does that take? Can you make a pot? I use the percolator. Dancing is worse than wild monkey sex. Oh my God. So Max was texting me this afternoon and about some of the shit Katie does. We'll have to talk about it another time because I got to go home before I'm. My husband spent so much time with me this week. He misses me. That I said, would you please tell everyone on Reddit to stop sharing that video? That's exactly what she said. That's Max's text. It's her facial expression during the dancing. Wondered her O face. I can't. The shakes, that is my guess, Lulu, is that I have low blood sugar. But I haven't eaten 28 hours and I have low blood. But I have had the one protein shake. So it's not like I haven't had some sort of calorie. What type of percolator do I have? I don't remember. It's old. It's a show listener. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. It's Farberware. It's a Farberware. Can't ask me questions like that when I haven't eaten in 28 hours. Y'all are. That's what I was thinking, Wesley, but I didn't want to put that on murder because I thought that was an unfair thing to do. I have an espresso. Did I use espresso to only? I ice it. I put the coffee shake in. I use coffee latte flavor Premier, and I put that in, and then an espresso and ice, and it's delicious. Aww. Bling is the New Black, who is our show sponsor. I had your shirt on. She sent me this beautiful shirt, which I'll wear next time I come on. And it just says grateful on it. Because remember, I did the thing where I cried and I was talking about everything I'm grateful for. She made me a shirt. Very nice. And she sent me a card, which I kept. I think I put it, yeah, it's right here. With circles on it. I love circles. And it just says, I'm so grateful for you. So sweet. Very kind. Who did the video where Patty had the fangs? Jibs and Jabs. Any of those pods are the worst coffee you can get. I know, but I don't know how to make espresso. Have you ever seen this guy on Facebook? What is his name? Where he talks about being poor. I have to get it. He talks about being poor, and he's so funny. And he's like, you only feel this way because you're poor. He's an Indian guy. I think he's Indian. He's just hilarious. I told Max that if I ever go to a wedding again, any event where there is any sort of movement other than standing or sitting in a chair, I am leaving. Because everyone has a camera, and I am not dancing in front of people to have that shit end up on YouTube or TikTok or anything. It's crazy. I'm not having it. Patty is the only one on Jibs and Jab who doesn't sound like she's doing Quaaludes. Where is Jibs? Jibs has so much content to go through, I bet. So funny, Rebecca. That is so funny. I am grateful for my thumbs, Emmy. I am. It's my first thing every morning. I'm grateful for my thumbs. I'm grateful that mine are double jointed, so I can do that. And I can do that. But I'm very grateful for my thumbs. And my upper lip, like, okay, sorry. But I was thinking about this today when I was at Mass. Like, Patty, give me 5 things. This is how I talk to myself. Patty, give me 5 different things you're grateful for. And the first thing was my upper lip. Because can you imagine what life is like without an upper lip? I just waited, like, I almost broke out laughing in Mass when I thought of it, but it really is true. You need an upper lip, people. Jibs and Jab is a genius. I have an AI set up to train a model of anyone's voice from 10 seconds of audio singing emotions to. I think Jib is another content creator. Who is it? I do. Imagine a life without an upper lip. I'm grateful for you too, and I'll be praying that nobody gets cancer. Thank you, Tippy. She says, stop it. Yours bend back 90 degrees. So wait, I can only do it with this one, but I can do that. It's odd. You can't do it with this one. But I was like, you're sitting there. It's after communion, sitting there praying. 5 things, Patty. Upper lip. So God has more work to do with me. I think. Coffee beans are loaded with pesticides. See? God. I love it, though. I'm thankful for my thumbs and do not wish. See, all those people on the Aiden Kearney team, all he's doing is giving me content. Like, you love seeing your wrench. Well, thank you for being a wrench. Thank you for being a wrench. Oh my God, that's so sad to me. I'm so sorry for you Chiefs fans. But I love Keon Coleman. A lot of FSU players end up in the Bills, and I don't know why. Intentional typos for the win. That's funny. What? I started using exfoliating watch on what? CMB. I don't know what she's using. I think it's a side conversation. But somebody mentioned my hair. I think it was Wesley. Wesley mentioned my hair. Thank you. You know, I gave myself a perm. I still have this hole right here. I don't know what to do about it. But look how gray it is. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Oh, my God. Oh, Wesley did say it. Thank you. But I do have, there is no doubt, the Lord and I talk about hair. But we do. Because when I gave myself that perm, there was a lot of prayers going on. Aw, thank you, Bling. Always so sweet. Oh, speaking of which, well, I'll do it. I'll do it Thursday before the month that ends. Give away 5 more memberships. Oh, well, thank you, Wesley. I do try to make lemonade out of lemons and make fun of people who yell at me. It's not funny. I know. Well, see, no, I don't like. That's true, but I'm not a lip filler kind of girl, so I'm just gonna have to deal with the smaller upper lip. Okay, not having it. Not having. Can you imagine? I know women do it. I just cannot imagine this. I am so ticklish that even brushing my upper lip makes me so ticklish. I can't stand it. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I cannot imagine taking a needle to my lip. Cannot. Bless you who do. Just will not be me. I was grateful for my vacuum. It's so easy. And I love vacuum marks on the carpet too. Congratulations. You're a wrench wench. I know. JJ got a membership. Congratulations. Thank you all for joining me. It is so fucking beautiful. I bet. I can't even imagine. It makes my face hurt. Doing your own perm is brave. This is what I learned. My upper body strength is shite. Like my arms, I have fat arms, like fat. Like to me, they're just really large. And you know, you're trying to perm. So you have the rod if you've never done it, or guys may not. And then you have this tiny piece of tissue paper that you're supposed to wrap around your hair and then fold the rod down. Takes practice and skill, people. Practice and skill. What they need to figure out is how to do dental blocks like the dentists do so your mouth is numb before they start injecting. They don't? So I have, you can't tell right now because that's makeup, but I get my eyebrows microbladed and she puts on a cream so you don't feel it, but I always feel it. I got the vacuum robot Black Friday and yesterday I used the real vacuum and realized how badly it's been working. Yeah, it's more like a brush up. We use one in here, or I use one because I don't have time to always vacuum in here. So I have my robot in this office. I don't have one at home. There is local anesthesia for your upper lip. No, they put a numbing cream on your lips for like 15 minutes and then they inject the lidocaine, which is worse probably than the. Patty, you did a fabulous job on your own hair. Bravo to you. I could smell, that's someone's name. I agree. An older woman with upper lip fillers looks weird. I think I'm just going to go naturally. I'm a big fan of Justine Bateman and how she has really let her very thin self grow old. She and I are the same age. Grow old naturally. I think it's amazing that she's doing that, just like Pamela Anderson. We're also the same age. It's hard to believe. And just letting it be. I like it. They do my cheeks, and that's freaky enough for me. Oh, you get the fillers? I just can't. I think my daughter will. I think she'll be one that will do it. I just don't do it. I know Scott's looked into it. No fillers for you. I'm not doing it. Self-perm. I'm happy to put my mascara on. You let your hair grow too? Let go gray? Yeah. I got lucky, though, because I got the stripe. I mean, I got very lucky with my hair. My siblings, my oldest sister, still has very dark hair. She's 70 this year, February 5th, and she has almost no gray. Like, she has one stripe across, and that's it. And then my other sister's pretty white, but hers didn't come in like dramatic. Like that's what I tell people. Like, my gray comes in dramatic ways. Like, face it. She got a big contract for her pair. Yeah, benefited her. It did. Well, it's different. I mean, and it's a breakthrough for women if you don't. I love makeup. I have an entire little cabinet full, like multiple drawers full of makeup. I really enjoy it. And I yesterday we were out, Chris and I had foundation on because I really am red underneath. So I have foundation on and nothing else, which is unusual. I was like, no one's going to recognize me. And it's the hair, but I only had foundation on. I did Botox once, and my left eyelid was drooping for my daughter's wedding. Then I did it again, and my eyebrows look weird. Yeah, I think it's something you got to get used to if you do it. I'm just not doing it. You've been getting our eyelashes done since 2023. Extensions. So I use a serum now. I got them done years ago where I had extensions put on, and I got dandruff under my eyes. The girl was horrible. They itched so bad I couldn't take it. So I haven't done it since. You got your microblades done yesterday. Congratulations. Oh my God, me. Why are you doing this? Why are you telling people when my birthday is? I thought you liked me. I once dyed my blonde eyelashes. I was dating my husband and we were going to the lake. Now you wear very little makeup. Well, thank you, Emmy, for bringing up my birthday, but I will be 58. Yes, I'm older. The only fillers you want is a blueberry muffin. It stinks being in your late 60s. Well, Debbie, I'm not going to tell on you, but your hair is gorgeous. It's hard to believe that you're beautiful. What is eyelash serum? Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but I don't have eyelashes. Like, my eyelashes are white, so you couldn't really see them at all. And when you would put mascara on, they're white because of the gray hair. But they didn't used to be like this. When you put mascara on, it didn't help. Like, it was nothing. Nothing would stick to my eyelashes. And it looks like I have a bruise, and I don't. And someone's going to be like, she has a bruise. She has a black eye. No, I don't. It's just shadow right here. So you can get a serum like Rogaine that's safe for your eyes. Safer. I don't know how safe it is. But safer for your eyes. And it still shows. It's just a shadow, though. I thought it was makeup. And it will help your eyelashes grow. It takes about 6 weeks. So you brush it on the top of your lid, like right here, like right there. And your eyelashes, they got darker. Cheerio. That's what I wanted. It wasn't even about the length. It was about the darkness. And so now I have eyelashes. And it's a lot cheaper than going and getting eyelashes glued to your eyelid. I have 2 kinds that I've had for a while. I just didn't use them. My 11-year-old granddaughter talked me into it. And I used what I had first, which was Rodan and Fields eyelashes. And so far, so good. The Bulls had a touchdown. Your dad had beautiful lashes from drops of glaucoma. So that's interesting. My daughter used castor oil for a while. I was worried oil by her eyes, and I heard about castor oil. I use castor oil. I use castor oil here. I have hair. I use castor oil right here and right here. Right in there. Both sides. Game is tied. Shut up. Oh my God. That is incredible. Oh my gosh. Debbie Gibby, what will you do? You want my skin, Wesley. You're very kind. You wouldn't like it without the makeup on it. As I stick my face in the window, I have a lot of makeup on. I wear 2 layers of makeup because of the redness. It's not like a birthmark red, but it's pretty damn close. It didn't used to be like that, but it is now. It just looks like I'm sunburned all the time, every day. I think it's awful, but my skin does not have a lot of wrinkles. Castor oil is good for your face and neck, and I use it. And I'm happy about it. And I use the cold press. It's really thick, but it feels nice. It seeps into your body. I was using grapeseed oil, which will change the color of your skin. I look like I was Italian, and I'm not even kidding. Like it gave me an olive tone. So in the summer, I put grapeseed oil rather frequently on my legs because they're so marshmallow, pasty white. I don't know anything about microblading. It's tattooing. It's just a nice term for having your eyelids tattooed, but it's not permanent. It fades in about 6 months. I can't believe it's tied. They discovered it from being used for glaucoma. Oh. The game is not tied. 29-28 with 6 minutes. This is how they discovered the off-label. Interesting. I also think I'm a year older, Susan said, than I am. Then when it's my birthday, I'm excited I'm a year younger. Well, thank you, Wesley, because it is makeup. I have rosacea and use YSL. I have very bad rosacea. I'm Irish, and it is a thing. And that's another reason not to drink, because your face just turns all red like Katie Kool-Lady. My husband is watching the game in the other room. I can hear cheering. Wow. Bamato Probst. I'll just believe what you're saying. I'm fish belly white all the time. Yeah, that's me. Your gray is even, looks salt and pepper, more pepper than salt. Oh, well, thank you. But it really did. When I first went gray, it was just this stripe. I have it on both sides. I have it there too. So you can see all the bumps. I'm full of it. I'm full of rosacea. She says, I'm not sure what game you're watching. What is the score? Dang. Oh my God, it's 9:30. I am going to be in so much trouble. Christopher. What is the real score right now? Oh no, that's January 19th. I just can't take the out. It's 29 up. Okay. It's 29 up. It is tied. Thank you. 6 minutes to go. Winner is coming. It's the Game of Thrones. I've had a Bride of Frankenstein stripe for years. Good for you. I love mine. There's a great product on Amazon called 1,000 Hours, and it's a very easy gel dye that does not color your skin but darken your brows. My brows are darkened because they're microbladed. Because otherwise, my eyebrows, except for this spot right here, are pure white. Pure. There's nothing not white. I don't have that either. I don't have the Carl Malden nose. I do not. You still dye yours. Good for you. I've used you use ivermectin for rosacea. Does it work? I've used men's mustache dye for my eyebrows. Doesn't last. I just get them microbladed. It blends in. Good for you. Divorce reason why wife is addicted to cupcakes and patty cakes. Yep, I'm going to tell him. Frau Patty tattoo you. I do have it. I have several tattoos, but we're not going to talk about them. We won't talk about my tattoos. Just going to leave that go. They're fine though. Thank you so much for the memberships. Oh, 2. Thank you so much, Bling. You've been a member for 5 months. Crazy land. And Bling gave 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. You got your first tattoo 6 months ago. Good for you. Murder, do you do a live in Amsterdam? That's a great question. I use under eye concealer for everything. Best hair treatment is olive oil, rose hips, castor oil, real argan oil, banana. Put on hair with a hot cap, half an hour, then shampoo. But when I still have, like my curl is chemical, I don't want to lose my curl, so I don't really do a lot. This is a very generous community. It is creative. And Bling has a wench. Murder is in Maastricht. Why, Patty, did you have a bad experience with tattoos? I just think that's personal. I have a bad experience with pain. I didn't handle it well. Thank you, Debbie. And again, I don't think I have anything Tuesday, but I'll make a notice that we're going to talk recipes either Tuesday or Wednesday. And good luck to you, Allison. Let me know how your Ozempic goes. I am curious. I am very, very curious. You got your first tattoo in 1985. I got my first tattoo in 1985. I, too, got my first tattoo in 1985. December 1985. Yours didn't even hurt? I don't even understand you people. And didn't tell him. I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? I didn't think about that. Mine hurt like a mama jamma. Even my last tattoo I had, I'm not good with it. Thanks, Max. Very nice. It was a little bit conglomeration of stuff. You're between the sea and the city. Good for you after the nursing boards. I do Marshalls. That's where I got my vitamin C for my face. Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate the compliments. Have a great evening. Enjoy your families. Don't die. I don't want anyone to be hurt. So I'm wishing you well. I love my subscribers. I have the best subscribers. Take care, everybody. Bye.